I needed money 'cause I had none. I fought the law and a low one. I fought the law and a low one. Well, I met my baby and I feel so bad. Her female raises run. She's the best things I ever had. I fought the law and a low one. I fought the law and a low one. Hey! Hey, Pachuco! Viva los Rio Roques! Well, a robbing people with a 6-gun. Hey, I fought the law and a low one. I fought the law and a low one. Well, I miss my baby and a good fun. I fought the law and a low one. I fought the law and a low one.
Johnny Walker here at Blast Off. I'm here with my Ray of Truth, Miss Bradley Lockhart.
All right.
You having fun now?
So ready.
I know.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
ready because now the show, you had to sit back for like 10 minutes. You're like, God damn it. I know how you think.
So many questions.
I know you do.
So many questions.
So I'm going to shut the so you can ask DK Williams the next question. DK, thanks again for being here on the show.
You are most welcome. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I love you, Johnny. Okay. So DK, you have said before that freedom is, in quotes, freedom is dangerous, my friends. Live dangerously, which I love that.
That's all me, baby. Trademark that.
I will. Okay. So I was going to ask where we should start. Things like nullification, agorism, black-gray markets. I mean, where should we start to live that?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what your choices are on any given day. And because we have different choices that just present themselves to us when we have to make decisions about what we're going to do every day.
Human action.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So whenever we're given an opportunity to do something that is either right or legal, we should do what is right. And most things that are supposed to be illegal are illegal, even if they're not morally wrong, like weed, right? Here in Colorado, and it's coming on across the country. Some body of lawmakers have said, that's too dangerous for people to be able to do. So we don't want them to do that. We're going to make it illegal. And so that's where, let them do it. If you think that's dangerous, well, let's live dangerously. So that's where it comes from. And it applies to like economic stuff too, like minimum wage. The idea behind minimum wage is, people are too dumb to be able to decide how much money they need and are willing to work for.
Sure.
Therefore, we're going to mandate that they're either going to be unemployed or they're going to have to get this much legally. And the idea is, well, you know what? Let them have the freedom to decide how much they're going to make.
And learn how to advocate for yourself. Stop infantilizing our freaking populace. At this point, nobody is everything comes down to nobody knows how to own themselves and what that means. Advocating for what you want, associating freely. You don't just take a job because someone said, I'm going to pay you 5 cents an hour. And then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right. You don't have to take it. That's freedom.
Yeah, that is freedom.
And you're right with the weed, the nullification. That's huge.
Yes.
You have the freedom to be an asshole and to be stupid. How's that? I mean, like, we can't have, if people are stupid, you have the freedom to do it. I mean, like, you may not get the best
and
deal.
And face those consequences. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And again, here's the thing. DK, I was thinking about this the other day. We have all these regulations, rules, and laws, right?
We do.
But most of the time, Congress doesn't approve it. This is some agency, some federal alphabet soup agency. They're creating these laws that are on the books, right?
Yes.
They have no authority to create laws. But yet,
not legitimate. Nope.
Exactly. So how has this happened? Is there something that or some sort of act or something like that has given them this authority?
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Find the Liberty Beat online at snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending January 18th, 2019. Gold opened Friday, January 18th at $1,282. Silver opened the day at $15.38. And Bitcoin was trading at last check around $3,597. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, citing a report from BuzzFeed, CNN is reporting that President Donald Trump personally directed his longtime former attorney Michael Cohen to lie to Congress about the Moscow Trump Tower project. Two federal law enforcement officials involved in an investigation of the matter told BuzzFeed that Trump directed Cohen to claim negotiations to build a Trump Tower in Moscow ended months earlier than they actually did. The law enforcement sources told BuzzFeed that Cohen confirmed to special counsel Robert Mueller's team that Trump issued the order to lie to Congress. Mueller's office learned Trump directed Cohen to lie to Congress through interviews with multiple witnesses from the Trump Organization, internal company emails, text messages, and other documents, according to the BuzzFeed report. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, a special offer for Liberty Beat listeners. Use promo code SNLS at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase with My Brave Botanicals. Your news now continues. Wyoming lawmakers have turned down a bill that would have allowed possession of hemp extract for medical purposes, according to the Associated Press. The Wyoming House Judiciary Committee voted not to advance a bill to decriminalize CBD, a non-psychoactive component of marijuana. The Casper Star Tribune reported that 17 states have legalized products containing CBD compounds, advertised to treat a range of conditions, from muscle pain to seizures. Proponents testified that using CBD obtained in other states has helped them. Committee members voted 4-4 against the bill amid concerns the U.S. government continues to classify marijuana as a top-tier controlled substance. A similar bill failed in the Wyoming legislature last year. A Kansas City, Missouri couple claims in a federal lawsuit the state requirements for foster parents who own guns violate their constitutional rights. The Associated Press reports that foster parents in Missouri are not prohibited from possessing firearms if they are otherwise legally allowed to do so. But the Missouri Department of Social Services imposes several restrictions on them. According to a report from the Kansas City Star, the rules include storing firearms and ammunition separately, keeping firearms locked in areas inaccessible to children, and keeping firearms in a locked area in any vehicle transporting a foster child. James and Julie Attaway, who have one foster child in their home and plan to have more, argue in their lawsuit that the restrictions prevent them from possessing or carrying loaded functional firearms. The Attaways say they fear losing their foster son if they don't comply with the restrictions. The nonprofit Second Amendment Foundation joined the Attaways in the lawsuit. The lawsuit seeks an injunction preventing the state agency from enforcing the regulations, and the Attaways also want the regulations declared null and void. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details on how to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at snls.news. And coming soon to the SNLS network is The Bones of Anarchy, a podcast produced by activist Tony Bones. The Bones of Anarchy coming soon to the SNLS network. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, January 18th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after members of the New York Police Department found a super sharp Buck brand pocket knife earlier this morning, Lieutenant Joseph Mattioli spoke to Onion reporters at the scene of the discovery to update the public on this potentially deadly blade.
At 8:40 a.m., police discovered what seems to be a pretty badass buck knife. Investigators believe it to be basically the deadliest knife ever.
Mattioli confirmed that the pretty cool wood-handled knife has a clean edge and added that the blade must be, quote, at least like 8 inches long.
At this time, we'd like everyone to be aware that there's probably a man out there with an eye patch and scars all over his face that has access to these knives, or maybe even a samurai sword. We urge people to be careful when approaching him because he may flip out and chop both your arms off before you even realize it.
Following the announcement, Mattioli asked people to come forward if they had any information about the owner of the knife or if they just wanted to hold it for a couple of seconds. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves here, bring up anything that you want. Live Sunday edition of the program. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
And Michael.
And, of course, you can bring up anything. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms that are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. So feel free to hop into any one of those, and you'll sound almost like you are sitting here in the studio with us. Now, last night, a story we never got to, but it's definitely big news, is the Trump immigration compromise, the proposal that he made to, get out of the government shutdown.
Yeah, didn't he say he was going to stop harassing the Dreamers, something like that?
So there was a big statement, I guess, that came out, and essentially the conservatives, some of the conservatives are saying this is Trump turning against them, that Trump is now proposing amnesty, and they're very, very mad about it. There's a story here from Politico.com, headline, Immigration Hardliners Blast Trump's Shutdown Deal Offer. So he got into this over building a wall and doing what the conservatives wanted him to do. Mm-hmm. And now he's offering to let some people come here kind of legally, right? Or people that are already here.
People that are already here, like the like I said, the Dreamers that came here during that got semi-legalized during the Obama administration. And I guess what Trump did early in his administration is to kind of cancel that program and start trying to kick those people out.
So immigration hardliners Saturday afternoon blasted Donald Trump's proposed deal to end the government shutdown, attacking his offer of temporary protection for some undocumented immigrants in exchange for border wall funding. Representative Steve King from Iowa, Republican of course, tweeted, quote, "A big, beautiful concrete border wall will be a monument to the rule of law, the sovereignty of the USA, and Donald Trump." And then he does at Donald Trump, so he's speaking to him.
And white supremacy. He's the one that got, we talked about this the other day too, he's the one that got censured for and lost all his committee seats for making those white supremacist remarks.
This Steve King guy?
Yes.
He says further, if DACA amnesty is traded for $5.7 billion, which is 1/5 of a wall, wouldn't be enough illegals left in America to trade for the remaining 4/5. No amnesty for a wall, he says.
Oh, my.
Ann Coulter said on her tweet, or her Twitter, quote, 100 miles of border wall in exchange for amnestying millions of illegals. So if we grant citizenship to 1 billion foreigners, maybe we can finally get a full border wall. I love it. I don't know what this guy's plan is, this Trump, but you know what? This is just so much fun.
He's driving the conservatives insane now, and they've been supporting him for all this time. So, yeah.
Coulter said further, Trump proposes amnesty. We voted for Trump and got Jeb, referring to Jeb Bush, who had previously criticized the president's immigration rhetoric. Tom Fitton, president of the right-wing activist group Judicial Watch, also blasted Trump's proposal, tweeting that the overture to Democrats will, quote, encourage more illegal immigration and undermine the rule of law.
Yeah, that's they always pull out this rule of law thing as if that means something, because laws can be changed.
Right.
I mean, laws can be whatever they are, and when they say rule of law, they don't mean that They don't mean that they want to let immigrants come here legally. They want to keep immigrants out and make it as difficult as possible for anybody that wasn't originally an American to come here.
Roy Beck, president of the anti-immigration organization Numbers USA, called the president's offer a loser for the forgotten American workers who were central to his campaign promises. He said further, an amnesty for wild trade would once again reward previous immigration lawbreakers without preventing future immigration lawbreakers. This kind of amnesty deal will incentivize more caravans, more illegal border crossers, and more visa overstayers at the expense of the most vulnerable American workers who have to compete with the illegal labor force.
Oh, good grief. Give me a break. The so-called lawbreakers he's talking about are the people whose parents brought them here when they were babies.
And also,
tell me how a baby can break the law.
Well, this guy's mad about competition. He's mad that people coming here means that, wages might go down if enough people come in and they are willing to work for less. If they can do the same skilled labor and do it for less, then wages are going to go down, and that is scary to these people because they don't understand economics.
Of course not.
They don't understand that when wages go down, that means the cost of the item that you're producing or the thing or service or whatever goes down.
True.
And so therefore, over time, you're going to find that people have more money to spend because the things that they're buying cost less, again, presuming that businesses pass their savings on, and most of them do.
They generally do.
Because of competition.
They have competition, right.
Right.
So the reason I can go out and afford to eat meat every once in a while is because Hispanic immigrants are meat packing in Iowa, which is where this Steve King guy is from.
In addition to a variety of border security efforts unrelated to the wall, Trump offered in an address from the White House to provide, quote, 3 years of legislative relief, unquote, for the roughly 700,000 undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children and protected under the Obama Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Trump announced in September of 2017 that he would end DACA. And he says further, this extension will give them access to work permits, social security numbers, and protection from deportation, most importantly.
Yeah, for 3 years. Then we have another shutdown.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad to me.
Yeah. Well, then we have another circus and something to talk about. So
let's go to the phones here. Pete's on the line in Virginia Beach. Pete, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Hello? Do we have Pete? Oh, I had him muted. My bad. I got you, Pete.
Okay, I apologize.
No, it was my fault.
But yeah, I talked to you guys last night, and So are you saying that a border wall is not important, or some kind of physical barrier to prevent people entering our country without, without even being noticed? You don't think that's important, or?
Yeah, I think freedom is important. So having a wall is contrary to freedom, and having a wall, of course, means
freedom for who?
And a wall
for
works both ways.
You're talking about freedom. If you guys want to make a point, I'm going to shut up. But otherwise, what do you want to do?
Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say freedom. You said freedom for who? I said freedom for everyone.
Okay, well, we're not in America. We're not really. I don't think we should be concerned about freedom for everyone, because if you're talking about freedom for like Muslim countries or other countries that want to do us harm, we don't want them to be free inside of our borders. I think we just want our own citizens to be free inside of our borders.
I think you've got a strange concept when it comes to freedom. First of all, countries don't want to, I don't know what you mean when you say country. Do you mean the people of a certain plot of land when you say that?
What I mean is, I guess what I mean is the people here that don't want to be considered infidels and blown up. I think it would behoove us to have a border there.
Here's an idea. Hey, I got an idea for you, Pete. If you don't want to be considered infidels and blown up, how about the U.S. military doesn't go over into the Middle East and blow things up? How about that?
Like their weddings.
You really think that would change it?
Yeah.
You think that would change it?
Yeah. How would you feel if your neighborhood were regularly invaded or bombed by?
I mean, look, I'm with you. Watch Red Dawn. That's how I would feel.
Okay.
However, I would not travel to the Middle East if they were attacking us and try to blow them up.
You don't think if they killed every single family member that you've ever had, you don't think you'd consider going over there to do something about it?
Okay. All right. Well, we're talking extremes. Now, yes, of course, I would do whatever it would take to,
Well, how do you think you become an extremist? People aren't born an extremist.
Well, Well, why not? They're in an extremist country.
People aren't born an extremist. People are born a blank slate.
All right. Sir,
people earn that.
Go right ahead.
One statement. They are not given a choice. They are born into such poverty that they are given, these groups are the only way they can eat or feed their family or whatever. So they just like people here in America, they siphon them in like pawn shops here. They siphon them in. They take advantage of these poor people who can't feed their families. They give them money or whatever they want. But then they go send out to kill people. That's their political agenda.
Pete, stand by if you can. If you got time, I want you to stick with us because
I want to talk to Pete some more.
We should talk about this here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Yeah, I don't think he really knows what he's talking about. Well, I'd like to talk further and see exactly what he wants to say. We're coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
SmartCash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. SmartCash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live is brought to you this hour by Bitcoin.com. It is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related, whether it's choosing a Bitcoin wallet, getting your first fraction of a Bitcoin. If you can afford a whole one, that's great too. Or also showing you where you can spend your Bitcoin. They can help you with that over at Bitcoin.com. Plus, you can read the latest news or engage with the community on the Bitcoin forum. That's Bitcoin.com. Get on over there to learn more about it. Pete is on the line with us in Virginia Beach. He did hang on. And Michael, I know you had a question, or maybe probably had a question for him. You said you wanted to keep talking to him.
I wanted to know, how is everyone in the Middle East a terrorist? I mean, you've got dozens of countries over there, millions of people, but you've only got hundreds of people in ISIS?
Did I say every single Middle Eastern is a terrorist?
You sounded like that's what you were saying, because you were saying that everybody there was born into it. You said they were born into it and they all get trained. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're nuts, dude. I said Middle Eastern terrorists. I don't care about the mom and pop people who try to make a better life, to support their family or become better. Are you kidding me? Of course I would support
okay, great. So you were only talking about the very small portion of the people over there that actually get into a terrorist group. A very, very, very small portion.
Right.
That's what you were talking about.
Right. Yeah. But how about the portions of people that come in this country that kill people and then get deported and come back and kill people again? The point is, if you don't know what's wrong with being safe for our country,
why are you so scared?
Your wife.
Why are you so scared?
I'm not scared.
Well, then why are you turning to the government to protect you?
I mean, we get maybe one or two of these a year.
Because what? What? Say that again. I'm sorry.
I've only heard maybe in the last year one, maybe two stories like this of illegal immigrants killing someone.
In one day, they obtained 453 people at the border, and out of those 453 people, 133 of them were not actually from South American countries. 2 of them were from Pakistan, which is, as I'm sure you know, is a very high-rated, terrorist country. So
I will highly rate the Indian food place run by a Pakistani gentleman here in Keene. So I'm glad that people from Pakistan are here. And so the concern here is that you seem to want a police state. Is that what you want?
How did that guy get here? From the guy in Keene, the Pakistani restaurant in Keene, how did he come to America? Was it legal?
I imagine by plane or a boat, but I don't know.
Right, was it legal? Did he legally come here to America?
Probably, but it really doesn't matter to me whether he was legal or not.
I never asked him.
So the people that come here without legalization, they're not helping our taxes, so they're costing us money, right?
Well, it's the government that's stealing money from you, so it sounds like you've got a problem with taxes, which I would agree with you on.
No, that's fine, of course. So, yeah, we can pawn it off on the government. I've already agreed with you guys last night, that I don't believe in the government. I don't think it's doing anything good for anybody except for themselves.
But yet you want them to build a border and enforce it?
To keep the people out of here that could harm us, and to keep the people out of here.
But what makes you think, if you just said, it seems like you're holding two separate viewpoints here, conflicting viewpoints. On one hand, you agreed with us saying that the government is useless. On the other hand, you want them to do stuff for you. What makes you think they're going to do stuff for you in any way that's useful?
I don't think they'll do anything except for make those people pay their fair share, which would help me out a little bit. But even then, probably not. So I can't disagree with you on that.
Well, here's what the real problem is they're not going to do anything the way you want them to do it. They're going to do it the way they want to do it. And the way they're going to do it is if they do some sort of increased immigration enforcement, you're going to get another larger level of a police state, because arguably we already have a police state. It's going to be even worse. Is that what you want? You want checkpoints everywhere? What's it worth to you?
What do you mean checkpoints everywhere? I'm talking about at the border.
No.
It's not just at the border. If you're anywhere in South Texas, you're going to run across Border Patrol eventually, sooner or later. Just going about your day.
Hey, man, no problem then. You're in Virginia Beach. Everything's cool. You don't have any checkpoints. If you're in northern New Hampshire, you're going to run across them. What about, well, right, because they can...
I've worked at a place where we had undocumented employees from Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Panama. So
did they murder everyone?
No, but actually one of them got in several accidents, had no insurance, was never punished or held accountable, and just kept driving anyways, and completely got off scot-free because he was an undocumented immigrant.
That's unusual. Most people who have multiple accidents usually end up with criminal charges.
You're not in a blue-collar society, so you don't hear of these things because it doesn't happen to you people. But I'm telling you,
because there's no blue-collar workers from the United States who get drunk on the job and crash a forklift, right?
I'm sorry. What about the blue collar?
I said because there's no blue-collar workers who are from the United States who get drunk on the job and crash a forklift, right?
He was in his automobile. Off the clock and got into several accidents, never paid the American families that he had hit, and then they just were screwed. They had to pay the $200 deductible for the uninsured motorist fee, and that was it. This guy never went to prison, never went to jail, never even lost his job.
Well, it sounds like you've got a problem with the local government there in Virginia Beach, not the fact that there was a man driving without a license, because it doesn't matter whether somebody's born here or they're not born here. You've ignored the point, Pete, and you just completely disregarded the idea that there would be a police state. The point is you're going to get a police state if you want to have an immigration crackdown, and you don't want to see it.
You said we already have a police state.
Yeah, it's going to be worse. You don't have checkpoints where you are. Do you want them?
Instead of questions.
Do you want them?
Instead of questions, how do you fix it? How do you fix it?
Fix
instead
what?
Of questions, instead of keeping the people who aren't legal citizens here out, then what, we just become a mosh posh of several different failed countries? Like I don't understand what you're.
Well, that's how America started for the last 200 years.
That's like what the United States is. It is a mosh posh, as you put it, of people from all around the planet, many of whom were trying to escape oppressive governments, which, wasn't that the reason why this country was founded in the first place? People
Irish, Italians, Germans, Chinese. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's the Mexicans are the latest ones that people are being this way about.
Yeah, I mean, look, you asked a big question, which is how do you fix it? Now, I'm not sure exactly what it is you want to fix, but the government is never going to be fixed. It's permanently broken. Or you could argue it's doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is to oppress everybody and take their wealth and demand their obedience, because that's what's going to happen, and it's going to get worse. And maybe you're sitting pretty there in Virginia Beach, and thank you, Pete, for the call tonight. Maybe you're sitting pretty there. You don't have any kind of checkpoints to deal with, but what happens when the immigrants start showing up in Virginia Beach? Maybe some people are going to be calling for greater enforcement there. And if they call for greater enforcement, what's that going to look like? It's going to look like checkpoints. It's going to look like, how about house-to-house searches? How about men with guns kicking in the door or pounding on the door till you open it and then kicking it in if you don't on your local business where you work?
Yeah, it's an ICE agent at every meatpacking plant in Iowa.
How would you like
check your work authorization when you come to work every day?
Is that happening?
Not yet, but
you're saying that could happen.
That could happen.
Yeah. Well, they do go into these businesses.
But they sure are doing raids and checking everybody.
Right. Yeah, they'll target a business. They'll go in with guns, and they'll pull the files right there, and they'll go through them and hold people at gunpoint if necessary in order to get their way. And I'm sorry, but that's scary. That's what's scary to me, not the idea that there might be a random chance that somebody who has a criminal record might come here if we don't build a police state. See, I'd rather live with the risk. I'd rather take the risk and have the freedom than this sort of illusion of safety that is built up by having a police state built up all around you, purportedly to protect you from a thing that is a very, very small risk in the first place. You're probably at a much higher risk of being shot by a cop. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
At WolfHillAmmo.com, we love shotguns. We offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market, including our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control, the 4-legged kind and 2-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our Stop 'em, Drop 'em or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free to join us here, live Sunday edition. If you want to join us, the number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
Michael.
We're going to continue with your calls and thoughts here. It's interesting to me that, and this is obviously not the first time immigration and these fears of terrorism have come up as a justification for a greater police state. But it's interesting that on one hand, our last caller, he seemed to understand that the government was a pretty pointless, inefficient, stupid bureaucracy. but then went right ahead and called for them to create a whole new program or build a wall or, crack down or whatever.
Do something.
You can't have it both ways. Either the government is good at doing things or they're not. And in my experience, they're not very good at doing things. But they are good at throwing money at police and giving them a bunch of resources and building installations inside the United States, permanent checkpoints, roving checkpoints. We've seen these things not only, as you mentioned, Michael, here in New Hampshire, but they happen a lot more often down in like Texas.
Yeah, they're a lot
Arizona.
more common down in the Southwest. I know we've got one up here in White River Junction, but and I've heard of some roving checkpoints up in northern New Hampshire.
Yeah, Woodstock is where they've been doing them here in New Hampshire, and everybody gets stopped and questioned, and it is a clear violation of your right to be left alone. Number
Indeed.
one, just wholesale stopping absolutely everybody on the road. Let's go to AJ. He's in Tennessee. AJ, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes, gentlemen. I think it's a huge misunderstanding between the bad guys and immigration in the United States. One of the biggest things that many people, they don't think about it. If today somebody wants to come to the United States legally, it takes them 15 years.
It's impossible. It's practically impossible.
Don't forget the money, too. You got to pay a bunch of money in lawyers' fees, application fees, bureaucracy.
Exactly. And the point that I try to make, first of all, the people in Washington, and I'm not taking any side, Republican or Democrat, they scare hell out of people that and that, or if that happened, that is going to happen. If these people, they come up here, this is going to happen. But my point to you guys is this. Yes, we do need immigration policy. We absolutely do.
Why?
Like many other countries.
Why?
Well, the reason is because you need, if you look at a person is in the, let's say me, I came to this country years ago on visa and then applied to become citizen, and I've had a job and I've worked and all of those.
Okay.
Now, if you really want to look at it, right now in India and China, 2 billion people in India, 2 billion people in China. Believe it or not, if they allow the people and they know with no problem they could get in the United States, half of these people, they want to come here. Now, can we support that mass of
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got lots of room, lots of room in the economy.
Right, by
more
support,
people
by support, I don't mean welfare, right? What you're saying here, Michael, is could they be supported by jobs being created?
Yeah,
yes.
New jobs created, that's what happens when people come to a country.
Right. If that's the case, there's no problem. Now,
great. Bring them all here. There's plenty of room.
My point is this. Even now, think about this. I'm talking about if you suddenly you have 500 million people, they want to come in here. If you say, yes, we do have room for them and they could live in here and they be happy. Now, think about this. If we want to do that, now we don't even 12, 15 years, somebody has stayed there and wants to come to the United States, they won't let them in. So my point is not to get to that point to let anybody anywhere come in, but at least expedite most of these people that they want to come to this country with education.
So you're saying make it easier. You're saying have a system, but make it a lot easier. Make it a shorter time frame.
Make it easier. Then when you make it easier, not everybody wants to come here. At least the people that they want to come up here. I'm not saying do not check their background. Do not check who they are. But make it easier for them. If you make it easier to come in here, we wouldn't have that mass of people that want to come here illegally.
That's true. I think that's true. I think if you do make the system easier on folks, if it were, a simple form or, one application fee, you didn't need an attorney, I think that would be a lot easier.
Simple form, application fee, criminal background, and come on in.
Right. When you look at somebody comes from the either Mexican border or anywhere, people, they don't understand what they go through to get here.
I read the other day that people in Mexico that applied for permanent residence in 1995 are just now having their visa applications processed.
Yeah,
Hey,
my point is the people that they jump this side of the border. If somebody comes from those third world countries and they have to go through heck of a time, month and month, they sleep in nowhere. They don't eat anything to get to the border of the United States, and they want to come up here. So if somebody goes through that much trouble, they really want to come up here is not because they're criminals.
Yeah, criminals wouldn't do that. They just stay down in Honduras or wherever and be criminals.
And rob people or whatever. Hey, AJ, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, man. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also got Scott. He's listening to WGOW-FM there in Chattanooga. Hello, Scott.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Welcome.
First-time listener.
Thank you.
First-time listener, first-time caller.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead.
I was just on the way to the store listening to some of your comments, and some I agree with, some I don't.
All right.
But I am a professional, and I will not give my profession out, but I'm an analyst.
Okay.
And I heard some of your comments about if we have this illegal immigration and somebody's working undocumented, and they're working for less than what an American citizen has to work for because of minimum wage, then that product, that savings, is passed on to the consumer.
It should be in a free market where businesses are free to compete. Typically, savings are passed on to the customer.
Well, I'm in a business that I can tell you it doesn't.
Okay.
For example, and I'm basically going to show my hand a little bit here. If someone's building a house in a new subdivision, general contractor, and he has hired illegal immigrants to work, say for $7 an hour, but the next contractor next to him is building the same exact house, but he's hired American citizens that are legal, or somebody.
I see what you're saying, Scott. You're using an example where this discrepancy exists, where somebody who's following the system and using minimum wage can't compete. So I'm against the minimum wage entirely. I think that.
Look, and I hate to interrupt you, but really, what I was trying to say was that general contractor, from what I've seen, doesn't necessarily pass that savings.
No, I agree with you.
Is he not going to underbid the other guy then?
No, what happens is if let's just say, for example, a house sells for, let's say, $200,000, and that house sold by someone that hired legal labor, but the house next door cost $10,000 to $15,000 less because they hired illegal labor.
No, Scott's right. He's right about this, because what you're giving us an example of is, Scott, not what I was talking about. I was talking about a free market where you don't have this minimum wage getting in the way. So you're giving me the example of somebody who's willing to break the law versus somebody who feels like they have to follow the law. I'm talking about where that law wouldn't exist at all, and you actually had a free market of every contractor could pay whatever it is they thought the employees were worth, and so therefore people could compete on wage freely, then you would see savings getting passed on. If you got more, you can stick with us. It's Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations.
convictions. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition of the show. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Michael.
Join us online over at freetalklive.com. We have a lot of features there on the site. They are free for you, so head on over to freetalklive.com. You'll find them there, archives that go back for more than a decade. We've also got our webcam available to you on our Twitch channel over at twitch.lrn.fm, and there's so many other features that we just give to you on our website, unlike those other talk show hosts who insist on charging you for their site. So enjoy ours for free over at freetalklive.com. We go back to Scott in Tennessee listening to WGOW. Of course, if you want to join us, you're welcome to do so. Scott, I think we hopefully we communicated well enough to understand each other in the last segment, where we were talking about previously how if we actually had a free marketplace, that if we had a free market, for instance, in labor and no regulations to stand in the way, like the pesky minimum wage that you brought up, then if you had labor coming in from outside of the United States that was willing to work cheaper, that's going to drive prices down in an open free market that is subject to competition. The situation you described is the one we have today, in which if a business is willing to use illegal labor, they can then undercut their competitor while still keeping all their profits for themselves, and they don't have to lower their prices. So that wasn't at all the situation I was talking about. I was talking about a situation where we would not have the minimum wage in the way, and we would not have immigration restrictions in the way either. So there would be no such thing as a crew of illegals. It just would not. That wouldn't exist.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. And I don't even know your political stance, honestly. It's the first time
I'm pro-freedom. Whatever the issue is, I'm in favor of the freedom of the individual.
Gotcha.
Basically means I'm a libertarian. Go ahead.
Yeah, gotcha. And, I don't even really know the definition of a libertarian.
I'll tell you. It's an individual who believes in the non-aggression principle, and what that means is that the non-aggression principle basically says it's wrong to use aggressive force, to use coercion against peaceful people. That's it. That's all it means. That's really all being a libertarian is all about. It's not the only thing that people should be. They should also be kind, and they should be generous, and they should be, all kinds of other things. But the non-aggression principle is sort of like a baseline minimum behavior that people should engage in as far as how they treat their neighbors, which is to say, to not aggress against them. And so libertarians tend to be against all government if they're true libertarians. There's plenty of people out there who claim to be libertarians who are not, and that's unfortunate, including the Libertarian Party's presidential candidates for the last decade plus. But basically, a libertarian would say that we don't need a coercive state around because human beings should be able to interact with one another on a consensual basis. And if there is a thing that's a good idea, then it should be funded consensually rather than under the threat of force, which is how the government funds everything.
Gotcha. Well, I'm learning something.
Good. Well, that's why we're here. But, anything else you want to share tonight, Scott?
One thing I did agree with your last caller. We don't have a border problem. We have an immigration problem.
Do we? How's that?
What's the problem?
In my opinion, and this is my issue is like he was saying earlier. If someone wants to come into this great nation of ours, it's 15 years before
that's a huge problem.
They can actually. It's a huge problem, and this issue, as much as healthcare has too, has been kicked down the road. Kick the can down the road, as to say.
Sure.
For years.
Decades.
That's what politicians do best. Kick the can and lie.
Yep. You're exactly right. Hey, I appreciate you letting me talk with you.
It's our pleasure, Scott. Thanks for being here. Appreciate hearing from you there. And be sure to tune in again anytime there over on WGOW, which is now airing us actually on weeknights as well there on FM in Chattanooga. So that's very, very cool. You can bring up whatever you want. In fact, you know what? Earlier in this conversation we had, Michael, with one of our callers, we got onto this fear-mongering about terrorism. The idea that, well, if we don't have the government to protect our borders, we're going to be in that there's going to be an influx of terrorists. And it's scary, and we need the government there because scary people exist in the world, and therefore we need the government to keep us safe. But, of course, that ignores the fact that scary people could get a hold of the government and then use the government.
They already have.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, the reality is we're more likely to be harmed by the government, by the government's agents, whether they be state police, federal police, local cops, whoever it is we're talking about here, zoning board of thugs. These government goons are the ones that are harming people in the United States on a day-to-day basis. And then, like you said, every now and then there's like a plot that the federal government breaks up of a terrorist that was going to blow something up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's happened again. This story broke just a few days ago. We haven't talked about it yet, but I wanted to, and so it's a perfect excuse to do that. Headline from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution at AJC.com. The story came out of the Atlanta area, apparently, or somewhere in Georgia, a place called Cumming, Georgia. And according to the story, federal authorities arrested a Metro Atlanta man they said was plotting to attack the White House, but instead got entangled with the FBI. Hasher Jalal Taheb, who's 21, was taken into custody in Gwinnett County while allegedly trying to exchange his vehicle for explosives. He later appeared in court in downtown Atlanta in the case brought by the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. Authorities said Taheb was acting alone, and they made no accusation that he had ties to any terrorist group. This story, you can just keep writing the same facts over and over again. Just change the location.
Change the location and the name.
Yeah, change the man's name. And there have been hundreds of these. As of a few years ago, the number was, I think, 215 of these false, I don't want to call them false flags, but ginned up terrorism where the FBI
goes in, has their agents or even their informants go find somebody who may or may not be mentally capable of understanding what's going on, and just sets them up as a terrorist.
Correct. They set them up by doing things like giving them a bomb or what they think is a bomb, a van, and help them with the target. And we'll tell you what happened in this particular case. But these things have happened over and over again. It's like as soon as you see the headline now, FBI busts terrorist, wannabe terrorist. As soon as you start reading into the story, every single time the question arises, would this person have done the thing that they intended to do if it weren't for the help of the FBI?
Very unlikely.
Well, we can speculate, but really there's no way to know for sure. Tlaib's attack, he was arrested after a tip from a resident who said the young man had been radicalized. So somebody clued the FBI into this guy. Tlaib's alleged attack on the White House was supposed to take place around Thursday and involve explosives and firearms, though even days before he had claimed he'd still never fired a gun in his life, according to the criminal complaint. He said, though, he could learn fast, said the document. Authorities also said he planned to travel to the Islamic State territory, but acknowledged he didn't have a passport. U.S. Attorney Byung Jae Pak, who added authorities would take no questions on the investigation, said further, all potential threats have been neutralized and were under control from the inception of this case. Well, that's because the FBI had total control over this situation. They were his contacts. They were...
This guy would never, it doesn't sound like this guy would have ever gotten anywhere with any kind of attack, even if he had actually thought of attacking anything anyway.
Even if he'd ever fired a gun in his life, which he hasn't.
Which he hadn't.
The criminal complaint, which accuses Tlaib of plotting to destroy a government building, punishable by 5 to 20 years in prison. The document said a community member contacted law enforcement in March of 2018 about him. Wednesday night, agents were searching his home, where he's believed to live with his mother. It wasn't immediately clear if Tlaib had an attorney. Messages seeking comment from the family were not immediately returned. The complaint lays out a detailed, months-long investigation. On August 25th of 2018, Mr. Tlaib allegedly put his vehicle up for sale to fund a trip. An FBI informant reached out to show interest and met with the suspect days later. Tlaib allegedly said he planned to travel to Hijra, a term said to refer to the Islamic State territory. He also told the informant he wanted to attack the White House and Statue of Liberty in jihadist attacks, said authorities. At the beginning of December, Tlaib arranged a meeting with the informant and an undercover FBI agent. Quote, Tlaib explained that jihad was an obligation, that he wanted to do as much damage as possible, and that he expected to be a martyr, the complaint said. A few days later, there was another meeting in Alpharetta. I have to wonder, before we go on with more of this story, obviously we don't have the actual complaint in front of us here.
But this guy had to sell his car to raise money to buy explosives.
Well, it says he wanted to fund a trip to go to the IS, to go to the Islamic State. So what I want to know is when he put his vehicle up for sale, as this story is claiming, and an FBI informant reached out to show interest, does this mean that...
Why did an FBI informant reach out to this guy?
Well, this is a purported radicalized person. So Tlaib was reported to the police as somebody who was radicalized. They then handed that over to the FBI. He then puts his vehicle up for sale, and that's when the FBI informant reaches out to show interest. I'd like to know more about that. Maybe those are two unrelated statements. It almost sounds like he placed a Craigslist ad to sell his vehicle, and an FBI agent was the one who responded, and then they took it from there. Like, would you just start talking with the person who wants to buy your vehicle about committing a terror strike? This guy's probably not that bright. More coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
It happens more often than we can imagine. In my case, I was sitting at home, and out of nowhere, I just started feeling uncomfortable. Then it got worse, and I started perspiring. I tried to ignore it, but I waited too long. The chest pain came as we were driving to the hospital emergency. I felt my life clock begin to tick. I barely survived. There was lots of damage done to my heart. What do I do now? I was lucky. I took a leap of faith and tried a 7-herb formula with hawthorn, garlic, cayenne, and more called Extendivite. Herbs have been used for thousands of years to keep us healthy. If you're not using Extendivite as a preventative supplement, maybe it's time to start. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of January 19th to 20th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.35 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,728. Antiwar.com reports following an hour-and-a-half meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-chol, the second summit between Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un has been announced, tentatively scheduled for late February. The White House said that the meeting will take place, but the exact date and time will be disclosed to the public at some time in the future. It's not clear if those details have been worked out privately yet. Trump and Kim held their first summit in Singapore on June 12th. This historical summit was extremely successful, leading to an announced deal on nuclear disarmament. Since then, mounting U.S. sanctions have raised tensions, and U.S. officials have complained North Korea hasn't met all U.S. demands. Either way, the White House says there will be no sanctions relief or any dialing back of U.S. pressure in the lead-up to the talks. North Korea's hope to reach a peace deal ending the generations-long Korean War and progress toward normalization are major goals, and it will be difficult for President Trump to convince them to speed up denuclearization without getting at least some of that in return.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
UPI reports freezing cold temperatures and heavy snow are expected across the Midwest and Northeast this weekend, weather that canceled hundreds of flights on Friday. About 100 million people are under a winter storm watch, warning, or advisory. Cities along the Great Lakes are also contending with possible lake effect snow, which could increase their snow totals. Boston and New York City saw light snowfalls on Friday. By late Saturday, freezing rain is expected with as many as 6 inches of snow and sleet. As of Friday afternoon, more than 11,000 flights in the United States were delayed and 771 were canceled. A second round of storms associated with the same system is expected to exit the Rocky Mountains and travel to the Midwest over the weekend. Kansas City and St. Louis, which both received major snowfall last weekend, expect less accumulation this time, but strong wind gusts and blowing and drifting snow. Milwaukee and Chicago could get up to 9 inches of snow according to forecasters. Snowfall was expected to begin late Friday in Chicago with increase overnight. Buffalo, which has not yet endured a major snowfall this winter, is expected to see strong winds and snow beginning Saturday. About 6 inches are expected in the metro area and as many as 16 inches elsewhere in western New York State. The snow will be followed by extreme cold for the eastern United States. Arctic air is expected to cover the area as far south as Florida, cooling most of the continental United States with below average temperatures.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports former Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke was sentenced on Friday to nearly 7 years in prison for shooting Laquan McDonald to death in 2014 in a landmark case that highlighted racial tensions in America's third biggest city. After a jury convicted Van Dyke of second-degree murder last fall, Cook County Circuit Court Judge Vincent Gauguin sentenced him to 81 months in prison and said he would have to serve at least 2 years before being eligible for parole. Activists wanted a longer sentence. Van Dyke could have received up to 20 years in prison for second-degree murder and up to 30 years for each of 16 counts of aggravated battery, 1 count for each shot he fired at 17-year-old McDonald. During sentencing, Van Dyke sat expressionless, unshaven, and wearing a yellow-orange jail uniform. In a statement he read before the sentence, Van Dyke said he was scared of McDonald and called the shooting the worst day of my life.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The victims of a devastating tornado expressed gratitude that The Onion's 3-part series on the disaster was reported with fairness, accuracy, and an unusual degree of sensitivity. Survivors said they were at least thankful for one thing, that The Onion put much more care and insight into their reporting of the tragedy than any competing newspaper, by far. In economic news, a Pulitzer Prize would very much help certain newspapers increase their circulation, resulting in greater ad sales and more revenue to pay their tireless, hardworking reporters, all of whom have families at home to care for. In other headlines, a group known as Americans for Fairness in Awarding Journalism Prizes is asking all Americans to help The Onion receive a Pulitzer Prize. An anonymous man says he will murder 50 innocent people if The Onion is not awarded a Pulitzer. And look at it, it's beautiful. Look, just give us a Pulitzer already, okay? This is humiliating. For more prize-worthy stories and videos, go to theonion.com/review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 2. We're kicking it off right now. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Michael.
Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And I did pull up the indictment of the man who is being accused of plotting terrorism, Hashir, the latest one, Hashir Jalal Tayeb, who's 21 years old, and he is a skinny-looking dude. He looks like my old roommate. Not a particularly intimidating-looking character, but if you're going to set off a bomb, it doesn't matter what you look like, right?
Right.
And so what happened? Well, apparently the report here at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution wasn't inaccurate, because I was wondering if they were writing this correctly when they said that the dude put his vehicle up for sale, and that's when an FBI informant reached out to show interest. According to the actual indictment written by the agent filed in court on or about August 25th, 2018, Mr. Tayeb advertised his vehicle for sale, after which an FBI confidential human source, which they'll refer to as CHS number 1, said he was interested in purchasing Tayeb's vehicle. On or about September 2nd, Tayeb met an FBI undercover employee, UCE number 1, for the same reason. So they sent 2 people to try to purchase his vehicle from him. On or about October 28th, so this is now 2 months later, Tayeb met with CHS-1 in Cumming, Georgia. Tayeb advised CHS-1 that he planned to travel overseas for Hijra and planned to sell his car to fund his travel. In or about July of 2018, Tayeb had applied for a passport and said his previous passport had been misplaced. Because he had no passport, Tayeb could not travel abroad, and he advised CHS number 1 that he wished to conduct an attack in the United States against targets such as the White House and the Statue of Liberty.
So he just came out and said this?
Apparently, and the strange thing is, there's a 2-month window here. So between point number 4 and point number 5 in this document,
we don't really know what happened between those 2 months, whether they were having conversations, whether this guy was
they must have been
leading him on or feeling him out or prepping him or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, I'm just rolling through the complaint here just to make sure there's not a point at which they go back in time, and they don't. It's every single point here is an advancement in the timetable of this. So for 2 months, this guy was talking with confidential human source number 1, presumably because he wants to sell his car, and
they never bought the car?
Well, I don't know. Maybe that may happen later because, again, they do tend to help these guys conduct their violence.
Because somebody's trying to sell their car, and they put it on Craigslist or whatever. They're trying to sell the car. Are they not?
Right, not have a 2-month-long conversation with the person who seems interested in buying the car.
Right.
And then starts asking you what you need the money for, what your plan is. I mean, it's an awfully friendly buyer in that particular case.
Yeah, I would, I'd probably hang up on somebody like that.
So let's go on with the summary, and rather than reading directly from the affidavit, which is many pages here, I'm going to go back to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution's story. So again, he claims he wanted to engage in these attacks. Taheb explained that jihad was an obligation, that he wanted to be a martyr, says the complaint. A few days later, there was another meeting in Alpharetta during which Taheb allegedly showed a worker a composition notebook with a hand-drawn map of the ground floor of the West Wing in the White House. Taheb seemed to believe the informant and FBI worker would join his plot if they could find weapons, according to the document. By mid-December, Taheb had allegedly broadened the scope of places he wanted to attack to include the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and a synagogue. He said he wanted to use handguns, IEDs, and AT-4 anti-armor weapon and hand grenades.
Now, where did this guy get the AT-4 anti-armor weapon? Where did this come into his head from?
I have no idea.
Does this guy have a military background? I mean,
he looks like a kid. I mean, that doesn't mean he wasn't in the military, but he's only 21.
What did they say? He was 21?
Yeah.
21, yeah.
So I think if he was in the military, it would have said that he was in the military. Maybe the FBI agents have like a little booklet of potential war weapons that they tantalize these wannabe killers with. Like, well, I mean, we can probably get you one of these anti-tank guns. How'd you like one? How'd you like one of those? We'll get you anything that you want. What do you need?
Yeah,
they just want you to say that you want to, destroy something.
Right.
And they want you to further that plot along. So they give you all the things that you need if you are one of these dupes who, and then these people have always been these sort of easily manipulable loner types who, maybe he was being radicalized. Okay, so that was what started this whole thing, was that there was a report coming in from somebody in the community, and a report I saw earlier suggested that it was actually somebody who was in an Islamic religion with this person.
Okay,
but
okay.
I haven't seen that in this story, so maybe that wasn't accurate. But regardless, somebody went to the police. They said, this kid's getting radicalized. And then the FBI came and took him all the way.
Yeah. The problem with this story is that even if he was radicalized on his own and the FBI just happened to catch him before he did anything, we've seen the FBI go after people so many times that had absolutely no chance of ever conducting an attack, or even people that weren't even radicalized before the FBI got hold of them. That it's hard to believe that they're actually on the level now. And that's just... the FBI has a credibility problem.
Taheb here had, again, broadened the scope. Conversations continued into January, apparently, with Taheb allegedly discussing the growing the group, disdain for the United States and Israel, and various angles of the plot. He also expressed worry that his family would catch on to his plans, because, again, he's living with mom. The attack on the White House was supposed to involve driving on a road behind the building, creating a diversion, and shooting a hole through the building to gain entry and kill people. It sounds like a video game, doesn't it?
That kind of does. I mean, as a plot to actually go in and kill people, that kind of might, maybe, but I don't know. It does sound.
It's not the best way to enter a building. Let's just say that.
It's probably not the best way to enter the White House either.
Right. On Wednesday, Taheb went to a Buford store parking lot for the purpose of him and the FBI agent exchanging their vehicles for semi-automatic rifles, explosive devices, and an AT-4, said the complaint. A second informant inspected the vehicles and told Tlaib the money was in the ashtray of one of them. Second FBI worker then drove up with a tractor trailer which had the weapons inside, though the FBI had rendered them useless. Tlaib took the weapons in a backpack and was then arrested by the agents. And then they get to celebrate how they've saved us yet again.
A terrorist attack and saved everybody.
Well, are you out there listening to this? Do you feel safe yet? Did the FBI's job that they did here make you feel as though you've really been rescued from an honest to goodness terrorist here? Somebody who really was going to do this without the assistance of the FBI?
Yeah, wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to find out here what exactly an AT-4 looks like, because it's a gun I'm not particularly familiar. Oh my God, that's like a bazooka. The AT-4 is an 84mm unguided portable single-shot recoilless smoothbore weapon built in Sweden by Saab Bofors Dynamics. It is one of the most common light anti-tank weapons in the world. You can get your own for $1.4. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I thought that was $1.4 million. It's only $1,400.
No, well, yeah. You wouldn't have
for a bazooka.
Is this like one of those shoulder-mounted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the pictures here show troops, U.S. Marines doing live fire with it.
Yeah, $1,500 for one. Yeah, okay.
My God, that seems really cheap for I mean, I've never looked at the prices of bazookas before, but $1,500 you can buy handguns for $1,500.
Oh yeah, like your target shooting weapons, your chromed out whatevers, but yeah.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Look, I don't buy it. I mean, just like every other story, I don't buy the idea that this character, this Tlaib, would have gone any further than just being angry on the internet, right?
Or possibly in his mosque. I mean, maybe this guy was in his mosque talking to people and being angry, but they could have talked him down. His imam could have straightened him out.
Instead, somebody went to the government, and now he's going to go to prison. Now he's going to go to prison for a long time. And yes, I know the argument here is, well, he did act it out, right? Like they kept setting the pieces up. He kept doing what they wanted him to. So he did go through the steps, and that's the argument on the other side.
They did lead him down that garden path. He did follow.
But would he have done anything if they hadn't have held his hand through the entire process? What do you think? This is Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding is stopped. The itching is stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Join us here on the radio waves. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Michael.
855-450-3733. The Smart Cash project is going pretty strong. I like a lot of the things I'm hearing out of the Smart Cash world. Smartcash.cc. Yes, it's another cryptocurrency. Yes, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. So how do you pick a winner? Well, I don't have any idea. But I do like the ones that are run by libertarian-type folks.
That's helpful.
I think that, people know the laws of economics, then that probably gives them a slight edge over the rest of the competition.
I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto was a libertarian.
Arguably, he absolutely was. And we don't know who's in charge. We don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Maybe he or she is still around, or maybe they passed away. Who knows? But cryptocurrency is going strong, and that's because of the innovation that is present in the world of crypto, with each cryptocurrency trying to do something a little bit different to compete with Bitcoin, to be more relevant, more interesting, maybe faster, maybe more secure, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. In the case of Smart Cash, of course, they're fast and secure and easy to use. That's simple enough to do. But what they're doing that's really different is they've got a voting system. Smart Cash has a voting system that allows everybody to participate. Rather than only the wealthiest of holders, anybody with one smart can vote. One smart equals one vote with Smart Cash. You go to smartcash.cc. You can also learn about their Smart Rewards, which is a price stabilization mechanism and a way to encourage long-term holding. What happens is if you have at least 1,000 smart in an address, a smart address, and you hold it there for at least a month's period of time. Now, it's a certain window in that month. But anyway, it has to be there for at least a month, and it has to have no outgoing transactions during that time to qualify for Smart Rewards. So you get free smart, basically, as a result of just holding on to it. So go to smartcash.cc and learn more there. That's smartcash.cc. We're going back to your calls and thoughts. We're talking about the young guy. I mean, he looks like a very, very young person. He's 21 years old. Looks like somebody you'd see like in a gay club or whatever. He's like a real skinny, kind of twink-looking kid. And he was busted by the FBI for trying to blow some stuff up. And he, of course, teamed up with an undercover FBI worker in order to do this, and a confidential informant who responded to his ad to purchase or to get rid of or to sell his car. And then he just started blabbing to them. They asked him whatever questions they needed to get him to reveal his plans, that he wanted to blow stuff up and wanted to go over to visit the Islamic State and so on.
I'm a little skeptical.
Well, I don't disbelieve that some people can become radicalized, and this person was reported to the police as someone who had become radicalized. But I'm skeptical of the idea that he would have ever actually done something about it. Had he never teamed up with the FBI, had he simply sold his car, got a little bit of money, and then realized he had to go back to work because he couldn't afford the airline ticket or whatever to actually go over to the Islamic State, that he likely would never have done anything. I think that's the case for most of these guys and most of these stories where the FBI has just created these people out of whole cloth. They start with like a little seed of discontent, and then they turn it into an entire plot that never would have existed had it not been for the FBI.
Yeah, they find somebody who's just a little bit unhappy, and the FBI just... They radicalize them. I mean, the FBI is doing the work of radicalizing them and then arresting them.
He may have started. He may have been the one who was. Maybe he was angry at the U.S. government for going in and destroying innocent lives around the world.
I mean, every American has at least one reason to be angry at the U.S. government.
Absolutely. But if you speak it online, look out, because they'll try to set you up. So the toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. We got Matthew in Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening.
Hey there.
Oh, yeah, the deal y'all were talking about at the beginning, I would totally take that deal. Numbers USA,
what deal?
They're kind of Malthusian.
Sorry, what deal?
About
the immigration?
Yeah, I would totally take that deal. The DACA kids for $5 billion worth of all. Yeah, no problem. I'll go for it. It is legal to buy bazookas. It is legal to buy rocket-propelled grenade launcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this AT-4 is... Yeah, you can buy them all you want. You do have to pay the $200 AOW stamp, but,
By the way, before you go on, Matthew, I do want to give credit to the chat room on the Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm who pointed out to me, which I had not noticed, even though it said it was a single-shot device. I didn't know that meant you can only use the thing once. I just thought that meant you can only load it with one shot. But this AT-4 that the FBI was going to supposedly give to Mr. Tlaib, the man they then arrested, once they handed it to him.
Yeah, it only fires once. It's a useless chunk of metal after that.
Right. So when I was looking at the price, I was like, wow, $1,400. Huh?
It depends on the type. The ones they used in World War II, the actual one that is called the bazooka could be...
No. We're talking about the AT-4 specifically.
We're talking about specifically the weapon that the FBI was saying they were going to hand this guy.
Yeah, so this is a weapon that, according to the folks in our chat room and also Wikipedia, is an anti-tank weapon, but it's a single-use weapon. There are plenty of multiple-use anti-tank weapons out there. This just isn't one of them. So when I was looking at the price, I was like, wow, $1,500 for a bazooka? No, it's not a bazooka. It's just a one-off. So $1,500, and then you need to spend another $1,500 if you ever want to fire, another one of these things.
Right. Well, I mean, if you get a real World War II bazooka, that is such a collector's item. You would hate to fire even a practice round.
Oh, really. I bet.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a theoretical question for you guys. So let me say that I'm going to use the magic of talk radio and make y'all the executive directors of the NRA. The question, do you invite Donald Trump to the annual meeting so y'all can have some FaceTime with him and explain to him that the membership is not particularly thrilled about the bump stock ban? Or do you not invite him and let the whole world know, yeah, we ain't happy about that at all?
If I was the executive director of the NRA, what I would want to do is turn it into a gun rights organization.
No, wait, when you say that's going to surprise people. What do you mean, Michael?
Well, they are a gun rights organization every other year when the moon is in the correct phase and the planets are in the right alignment, I think. And then they just turn sort of weird.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
They're having a little internal issue right now with something about some Russian spy going in there and boning some of the senior membership. And I'm like, so what? They have other guns besides the ones made out of metal.
Yeah, and that's what Russian spies do, isn't it?
Matthew, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
I've never met one, but I would like to meet one like that.
Thank you, sir. That's Matthew there. Now, when you said that they're not a gun rights organization, or you suggested that, what did you mean?
They tend to compromise a lot. The bump stock ban thing, and they just have a long history of compromise.
Right.
And so that's... Personally, I support the Gun Owners of America, which is the other gun rights organization that...
The good one.
The good one.
Right.
The one that actually supports gun rights 100% of the time.
Isn't JPFO also pretty good?
JPFO is very good, and they're focused more on the Jewish community, which is important, especially in light of like the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting a few weeks ago.
So, you want to join us here? The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You can bring up anything that you want, 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You want to sound almost like you're sitting in the studio here with us, just jump into our Discord server. Go to discord.lrn.fm. You do need the Discord app. It's free to download that. And then join one of those top 4 rooms there on our rooms listing. There's more coming up on Free Talk Live.
Technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, our Discord on-air call-in line rooms are there for you over at discord.lrn.fm. So hop on in there. The Discord server is your way to connect with other Free Talk Live listeners, not just during the show, but it's pretty busy during the show, but also pretty much any time of the day or night. There's people in there hanging out, talking about a variety of different things. So head over there to discord.lrn.fm. You can get interactive and do that for free. We've been telling you about a story out of Atlanta involving a young gentleman who got arrested by the FBI after the FBI basically held his hand through the process of radicalizing him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He purportedly started this process on his own. Somebody got, tipped off at his wherever it was he was somewhere in the community and said this person is being radicalized. Police got the tip. They turned it over to the FBI. The FBI set him up. They pretended like they wanted to buy his car from him, and that led to multiple conversations where he explained to them what he wanted to do, which was supposedly blow up the White House or somehow assault the White House by blowing a hole open with some sort of rocket-propelled grenade or some kind of a anti-tank gun, and then bust in shooting people or something like that, or whatever his crazy plot was. But the point, of course, was that this is no different than any of the other FBI busts where they've made a big old bunch of noise in the mainstream media about how they're saving us from terrorism, when the reality is they made this person into a terrorist. They helped him along. They gave him the excuse. They gave him the connections. The average kid who, again, looks like he's just stepped out of a gay club or something like that, the average young guy who he admitted had never fired a gun in his life, where's this guy going to go to get an AT-4?
He's not. The only place he's going to get an AT-4 is from his nearest FBI agent if they decide to hand it to him rather than arresting him.
Yeah, well, that's what they did. They had to hand it to him before they arrested him. That way they... Because they could have given him a chance to leave. Like, he could have been like, you know what, never mind. I have my conscience. I'm leaving. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I guess, presumably, they wouldn't have arrested him, but maybe they would have anyway. I don't know. I don't know what kind of, evidence they have to get a conviction in these cases.
Who backs out of something like that after they've been talking to you for months and setting you up and
holding your hand through it and walking you through everything that you need to do. So we go back to your calls and thoughts here. Let's go to Andrew. He's in Virginia, listening to WNIS. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, what's up? So I just wanted to say that... Hello?
Yeah, you're right here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there's a lot of people talking, all the isms, libertarianism, conservatism, all that stuff. I agree with a lot of the libertarian ideas, I think, in principle. I'm just thoughtfully. But I just wanted to say, well, on the ground level, we have far more influence over our own, just to remind people, maybe young people, that we have far more influence over our own lives in a personal way to some degree. Like, try to work in the system that you have until it changes. Like, people talk about there's not opportunity out there. Well, I went to an inner city high school and public schools, went to VOTEC. From there, I went to community college, and that was like almost all free. And, now I'm a registered nurse. I'm clearing $70,000 a year.
Not bad.
Doing my doing a part-time job. So what I'm saying is, like, there are yes, the system's broke, but there are still opportunities in it. Like, it's almost like if you need a car, to go to your job, but all you have is a bicycle, by all means use that bicycle until you can get that car. Like, until the government becomes more free, like, let's just kind of like focus on, and it ties in with that kid who the kid who got kind of sucked into the government plot, which I believe they pick somebody who's alert and oriented enough to know what he's doing, but is easily influenced. Well, somewhere in there, I'm sure he had the thought of, like, this probably isn't the best thing to do, and so he should have practiced that in his own life. You know what I mean? We still have choice. We still have some choice. Just because a lot of choice is taken away from us doesn't mean we shouldn't use make the best decisions that we have in the arena that we're able to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's definitely true that, even though the government is oppressive and even though they're very expensive and awful in so many different ways, you are correct, Andrew, that there are still many opportunities. And yes, college is highly overrated. You really don't need it for a lot of career paths in life. So
indeed.
So beware that, spending too much money on a thing that's going to just put you in debt for the rest of your life and not really benefit you.
A lot of it's free, though. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of it, there's a lot of grants. There's Pell Grants. There's a lot of stuff.
For the people that are willing to look for it, they can probably find some good opportunities out there. Your good call, Andrew. Thanks for sharing that tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. And that's definitely true. I mean, we've got it pretty good. I mean, all things considered, we're not scraping out an existence on some patch of dirt somewhere trying to carry water from a nearby river just so we have, enough water to wash our hands or, bathe or something like that.
That's true. And there are still quite a few millions of people living that way.
And if that's how you want to live, then that's another thing. But, we've got a pretty decent life. Unfortunately, that's also part of the reason why the government has grown to the size that it is because people are so complacent. It's like, oh, well, you got your shows to watch tonight. Make sure you don't miss your shows because, there's the football game on. Don't forget about your team. There's all these things that, keep people very busy, keep them very distracted. And why would anybody want to pay attention to the state of the world? It's depressing. If you watch politicians, then you're going to get depressed because these people are always lying to you. They're always, involved in some kind of scandal. It's just the question is, what is the next scandal going to be? Not when. It's inevitable that it's going to happen. What is it going to be? Who's it going to involve? How wide-cutting will it be? It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, you don't have to, and you don't have to worry about that. You could be watching the Eagles play the Rams tonight, but instead you're here listening to us. So
you could be watching and listening, though, couldn't you? Right?
Yeah, well, I suppose you could.
You don't have to turn the sound up to watch a football game.
Oh, right? Yes, you do. You have to listen to the commentary.
No, that's not required. So, but yeah, I think that you shouldn't be complacent. I think that there's a tough balance to strike here, right? Because on one hand, you can just completely get lost in all of the things to keep you busy, the bread and circuses, as they might be called.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it is.
So you can get as lost in that as you want to and spend as much time on that as you want. All the while, of course, the government becoming more oppressive, becoming worse, bigger, more involved in our lives in so many different ways and regulating our businesses out of existence.
The people who truly get involved are few and far between. Even if you put 1 million people out there marching, there's still 300 million people here, so that's 1 in 300 people,
yes. And getting 1 million people to march is pretty much impossible. I mean, at least in the United States, it's very, very hard. In some of the European countries, they seem to, be able to get 100,000
they'll go out and protest
people
at the drop of a hat, but that just doesn't happen here.
Not yet. And that's the thing. It's like, what does it take? What does it take to put Americans in a position where they're willing to do something? We've certainly seen people protest over police abuse. But a lot of the times they're protesting in the wrong places, like destroying storefront property or store windows or whatever of, McDonald's or Walgreens or something like that.
Yeah, that's not gonna. If you're protesting the cops, why are you throwing a brick through Starbucks? I mean, come on.
So that's never made sense to me. And
you got your issues mixed up.
And those protests, they don't come close to 100,000. I mean, they're not even probably 10,000 in most cases, right? So, is there something that's going to really set Americans off to where they're willing to actually get out and do something? And then, of course, as the one of the aides to, I think, Ronald Reagan was famous for saying, let them protest so long as they pay their taxes. So let them blow off some steam. This is the government's view as well. We have freedom of speech. We have freedom of assembly. Come on out. You can blow off all the steam you want. Go ahead and wave your signs, wear your hats,
make
whatever.
Your speeches.
Do your thing.
Just fill out those 1040s.
Right. Make sure you file your taxes, and then we don't care what you're protesting about, because it's not going to change anything. And what will change something? Well, you mentioned, Michael, that there's a very small minority of people who are willing to do anything. Our idea that we've followed over the last several years was move to New Hampshire if you're a libertarian and concentrate your activism with other people who are of like mind. Turns out that actually works pretty well. There's more coming up. Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved LicoChops with Omega-6, Omega-3, Vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
A doctor's office visit for erectile dysfunction on my smartphone? That's crazy.
No, that's the best EDpill.com. ED can affect 40% of men by age 40. Now there's a 95% less expensive option than Viagra. After a live confidential video consult with a fully licensed doctor, we ship medicines fast, free, and direct in discreet packaging. Read thousands of 5-star reviews. Click thebestedpill.com. That's THEbestedpill.com, the online doctor's office.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
The new Netflix Gas lets users instantly inhale multiple seasons of TV shows. An area man is worried the nation's healthcare debate might be getting political, and a bullied 8th grader incorrectly thought classmates would leave him alone during a field trip to the 9/11 memorial. Don't mistake my kind, gentle tone for one of love or support. This is the Onion Week in Review. According to a report released this Tuesday, no one, absolutely no one, will ever stack up to your 8th grade boyfriend, Brian Bowden, who you dated for 6 weeks in middle school. A 43-page study from Stanford University confirmed that no other guy in your life will ever be as kind or caring as the 13-year-old who held your hand during the scary parts of Jurassic Park, who had that really cool chain wallet, and who bought you 2 pink carnations on Valentine's Day. The report added that while your current boyfriend does have a lot going for him, he will certainly never cut class with you to listen to the dead Kennedy's Frankenchrist on a Sony Discman. Brian used to do that with you. He used to do it all the time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and join us here. The number's 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If you want to get on the radio with us here on the live Sunday edition with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Michael.
855-450-3733. And we've got a web forum. Not everybody wants to go into the Discord chat service because it's real time and it can be a little confusing, a little overwhelming, and it's hard to organize things.
Sometimes it's hard to keep up, too.
Yeah. So you want to organized conversation with other Free Talk Live listeners? The forum is the perfect place to do that over at forum.freetalklive.com. That's forum.freetalklive.com. They'll take you right to our forum, which is actually a sub-forum, which is part of the larger Shire forums, which focus mostly on New Hampshire. But again, there's a section for Free Talk Live in there, so check that out. As we continue, once again, it's forum.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Doug. He's on the line in Illinois, listening online via the TuneIn app. Go ahead, Doug.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
I haven't had the opportunity to tune into your show lately. I've had a lot going on. Did your show cover the Gillette boycott at all?
I don't know if it got any coverage.
Not that I've heard.
Not on the nights that I've been on. I'm aware vaguely of what happened. Can you recap it for our listeners?
Yeah, let's have a recap because I haven't even seen the video.
Well, the commercial can pretty much be telling men that we shouldn't be violent, that we need to be reminded not to rape, that we need to be reminded, not to engage in any type of inappropriate behavior. And look, my mom, prior to marrying my dad, had been involved in a relationship where she got beat daily.
Oh my!
And that type of man should be taken out, and they should be shot. I completely agree with that.
I am with you.
But I have watched on more than one occasion where a man and a woman will be having a verbal argument, and the woman will actually initiate by hitting, pushing, and attacking the man. And, we all, it can be part of human nature. We all have fight or flight, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel that you're under attack, you're going to hit back. Now, why do we men bear the burden all the time of reform? Why don't women ever get talked about, hey, you don't ever hit a man? Why do we continually men bear the burden of the type of reform? You know what I mean? Oh, you should never hit a woman. Well, okay. Well, what about educating women that they shouldn't hit men?
Yep.
Well, nobody should be hitting anybody.
No, I agree. But Doug's making a good point here, and that is there's a societal norm of men should not hit women. Even if a woman is beating on you, the claim is you're not supposed to hit back, which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't care who you are. If you want to start a fight, the other person, whether they're male or female, regardless of what is hanging or not hanging between their legs, ought to be able to finish the fight.
Right.
And that is to say, to fight back. So, and you're right, Doug, a lot of domestic violence incidents that don't go reported are female on male violence because, well, again, the society in which we live looks down upon a man who would, admit that he's being beaten by his girlfriend or fiance or wife. So that man, if he's getting a good beating, is probably not likely to call the police and let them know about it. So there's actually a lot.
My uncle and I were actually talking about it, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. He emailed me a link of a Dr. Phil video on YouTube, and I found it funny because when you look at the demographic breakdown of the Dr. Phil show, they're overwhelmingly majority women.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a gentleman on there who talked about how he had been being attacked by the woman, and Dr. Phil told the man, "Look, if she should hit you, you run away. If she should come after you and continue to try to hit you, you run quicker. If you have to, you hide behind a door, but you do not ever hit her back." That can be the type of narrative that we're now pushing. What about the accountability for women?
Yeah.
Nobody should have to put up with being hit.
Yeah, women say they want equality. Well, equality means if you strike somebody first, they should be able to hit you back in self-defense, regardless, again, of what your gender is. I'm with you, Doug. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE if you want to join us. That's 855-450-3733. That's not to say I think that you should escalate a fight. I do agree if you can avoid a fight, by all means, avoid the fight. But if you're cornered, and, the only way out is to fight back, and it's a woman that's attacking you, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Let's talk to Michael in New Jersey listening to WPG. Michael, you're on Free Talk Live.
You guys talk about Discord a lot, and I'm blind, but I have a friend here helping me, and I was hoping you could just do a 2-minute rundown about Discord. Is it something that a business that has people-to-people-to-people relationship could create a Discord environment where they could constantly be talking and chatting and helping each other?
Actually, yes. A lot of, for instance, a lot of people in the cryptocurrency world, a lot of the crypto organizations out there, they have their own Discord. So Dash is a good example of that. Dash is a cryptocurrency. It stands for digital cash. Smart Cash has one as well. So there's probably one for most every cryptocurrency out there, if not more than one. So there's like an official one, and then there may be unofficial ones. Anybody can go and set up one of these Discord servers. They are the downside of it, though, is it is centrally managed, meaning that the Discord company, whoever it is that makes Discord, they run the servers ultimately. They're the ones who have ultimate control over whatever it is that you create. So you do still have
shutting conservatives down?
I haven't heard. That doesn't mean they may not.
I haven't heard anything like that, no.
I mean, there's a chance they could, right? Like, there's a chance that could happen. Again, if somebody at a corporation decides they want to target a particular political affiliation, they certainly could do that.
Yeah, any centralized service could shut down.
Say Ann Coulter or Milo or Alex Jones. I think there's an InfoWars Discord site.
There might be. Honestly, I don't run in those circles, so I would not be able to tell you. We're libertarians, and from what we were told, our Discord server is the largest libertarian Discord server, so I don't know what else is out there or what has happened to them. But there's
they're individual. Are they virtual servers, or you have an actual server?
No, it's a virtual machine.
It's
on
a
their
virtual
service.
server hosted by the Discord Incorporated.
Yeah, so it's.
And what's their charge? How do they get paid? Where do they make their money?
That's a good question. I don't know how much money they make, but they sure as heck don't make a whole lot on probably 95%+ of their servers, because it costs nothing to create a Discord account, so the users aren't paying unless they want like a special tier. There is a special tier, I think, called Discord Nitro, and they give the users like special, GIFs that they can use, special little smileys, emoticons.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a freemium sort of thing.
But
they do sell some merchandise.
Okay, yeah, but I've looked at the Discord Nitro, and I mean, for me, it's like that's not attractive. So I don't know how many people are actually attracted to purchase that, and it's like $10 a month, so it's not cheap either to get the Nitro.
So everybody who would be part of, say, I'm launching a network marketing company, and I don't want to mention names because I'm not here to promote it. Okay. But so everybody that if we were my team, I'm the launcher, was to have a Nitro account, then everybody else, in order to participate, would have to have a Nitro account as well.
No,
I don't think so.
Nitro just gives somebody access to a few little bonuses, like giving them special stickers, like little graphics that they can post or something like that.
And there's some games they can play, things like that.
It's basically useless. So yeah, it would just give the Nitro user some sort of special status on the server as compared to the rest of the users. But no, the people who have Nitro, and I don't know if I've ever even seen anybody that has this. I wouldn't even know what it looked like if somebody showed up with it. But yeah, it's just a server that you have Discord turn on. You then configure all the settings to your liking. So you can configure whatever moderation settings that you want. You create different channel names, different types of channels. So there's voice channels, and then there's text channels. So there's two different types of chat channels, and you can have different channels for different purposes. So if you're doing it for a company, then you can have. There could be like a meeting room for a voice chat channel, or there could be, the questions for the newbie users who've come in, like a question room or something like that, support section. I mean, I don't know. There's different ways that this can be utilized.
You did a great job in giving me ideas.
Yeah. Check it out. Again, they're not our sponsor or anything like that. I don't have any allegiance to Discord. It's something that we started doing last year, because we for the longest time had what's called an IRC server, which stands for Internet Relay Chat.
But nobody used it. I didn't even know we had it for the longest time.
There were some trolls who found it and took it over basically at some point in the past. But IRC is just so old. The technology has not advanced in really any meaningful way.
That's 30 years old plus.
Discord, it's more modern. Drag and drop a picture in, it works. Drag and drop an audio file, whatever so you can use it to kind of transfer files between users. And it also has the ability to do not just voice chat with a group, but you can do one-on-one. In fact, I believe it also has the video capability for the one-on-one kind of chats. So you can't create a video room where just anyone can join it, but if there's somebody on your server, you want to talk to the vice president or something like that and he wants to meet with you, you could meet over Discord rather than using, say, Skype or Google Hangouts. So it has some of those capabilities as well. And
you're a big help.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I hope that did assist. It's discordapp.com is their site, by the way. Discord app, discordapp.com. And like
Thanks
I
very
said,
much.
thank you. They're not our sponsor. That's just the service we use for chat, and we've used it for more than a year now, and it's actually been pretty cool. You can check out our Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. Hour 3's next.
We trust the power of artificial intelligence to do a lot for us. Recommend books, movies, find our perfect romantic match, even drive our cars. So why trust your investments to yesterday's technology? With Vantage Point, you don't have to. Vantage Point's patented artificial intelligence technology has been giving traders and investors the advantage they need and better protect them from sudden downturns. Because unlike humans, Vantage Point is able to analyze massive quantities of data all around the world in seconds, so you get the information you need to make the right decision at the right time. Our technology can forecast market trend changes with up to 86% accuracy. Wouldn't you sleep better knowing your hard-earned capital is protected and growing thanks to Vantage Point? Stack the odds in your favor. Text DEMO to 411-411. That's DEMO to 411-411. We'll send you a link to our free demo so you can kick off the new year in the black with Vantage Point software. Text DEMO to 411-411.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Find the Liberty Beat online at snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending January 18th, 2019. Gold opened Friday, January 18th at $1,282. Silver opened the day at $15.38. And Bitcoin was trading at last check around $3,597. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, citing a report from BuzzFeed, CNN is reporting that President Donald Trump personally directed his longtime former attorney Michael Cohen to lie to Congress about the Moscow Trump Tower project. 2 federal law enforcement officials involved in an investigation of the matter told BuzzFeed that Trump directed Cohen to claim negotiations to build a Trump Tower in Moscow ended months earlier than they actually did. The law enforcement sources told BuzzFeed that Cohen confirmed to special counsel Robert Mueller's team that Trump issued the order to lie to Congress. Mueller's office learned Trump directed Cohen to lie to Congress through interviews with multiple witnesses from the Trump Organization, internal company emails, text messages, and other documents, according to the BuzzFeed report. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, a special offer for Liberty Beat listeners. Use promo code SNLS at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase with My Brave Botanicals. Your news now continues. Wyoming lawmakers have turned down a bill that would have allowed possession of hemp extract for medical purposes, according to the Associated Press. The Wyoming House Judiciary Committee voted not to advance a bill to decriminalize CBD, a non-psychoactive component of marijuana. The Casper Star-Tribune reported that 17 states have legalized products containing CBD compounds, advertised to treat a range of conditions, from muscle pain to seizures. Proponents testified that using CBD obtained in other states has helped them. Committee members voted 4-4 against the bill amid concerns the U.S. government continues to classify marijuana as a top-tier controlled substance. A similar bill failed in the Wyoming legislature last year. A Kansas City, Missouri couple claims in a federal lawsuit the state requirements for foster parents who own guns violate their constitutional rights. The Associated Press reports that foster parents in Missouri are not prohibited from possessing firearms if they are otherwise legally allowed to do so. But the Missouri Department of Social Services imposes several restrictions on them. According to a report from the Kansas City Star, the rules include storing firearms and ammunition separately, keeping firearms locked in areas inaccessible to children, and keeping firearms in a locked area in any vehicle transporting a foster child. James and Julie Attaway, who have one foster child in their home and plan to have more, argue in their lawsuit that the restrictions prevent them from possessing or carrying loaded functional firearms. The Attaways say they fear losing their foster son if they don't comply with the restrictions. The nonprofit Second Amendment Foundation joined the Attaways in the lawsuit. The lawsuit seeks an injunction preventing the state agency from enforcing the regulations, and the Attaways also want the regulations declared null and void. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details on how to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at snls.news. And coming soon to the SNLS network is The Bones of Anarchy, a podcast produced by activist Tony Bones. The Bones of Anarchy coming soon to the SNLS network. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, January 18th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
We turn to Washington, D.C., where America's roommates are holding a rally as part of their new One Vote Doesn't Matter political action campaign. The rally, which drew thousands of roommates, ranging from the guy who keeps all of his groceries in his room to the guy whose name the lease is under, is just a part of a surging grassroots movement to spread the message that one person's vote can't make a difference if you really, really think about it.
You know, this is like the most important election of our lifetime. We just want to get the word out that it's already been decided in some smoke-filled boardroom. You know, I pretty much minored in poli-sci, so I think I get this stuff.
Joining us now is Jason Copeland at a rally in the nation's capital. Jason, how would you describe the energy there?
Yeah, hi, Andrea. I'd say it's a definite chill vibe. I just saw the roommate whose only friend seems to be his younger brother and the guy who just has an air mattress in his room passing out flyers together. Now, the roommates do make some interesting points. The Electoral College it is weird.
This is the Onion News Network.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're kicking off the third hour of this live Sunday edition of the show with you tonight. It's Ian
and Michael.
Open phones, as always, here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. Coming up, Michael, you're going to be telling us about a cop that actually got convicted of something.
Yeah, he got convicted of murder.
And we'll tell you more about that coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts also welcome. If we get the chance, we can talk about the apparently tough times for the sex business in Amsterdam. That could be on the way too, but of course your calls and thoughts are also welcome. You can bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Just jump into one of those top 4 rooms there. We'll see you there, and we will join you when we notice you. Make sure you sound okay during one of our breaks, and then we'll put you on the air and you'll sound almost like you're sitting with us in the studio with us. So you can bring up anything that you want. The stories out of Illinois, is it not, of the cop that ended
It is
up
in Chicago.
Going to prison?
Apparently, it's the first time in Chicago history that a police officer has gone to prison after killing someone.
Wow. All right. Tell me more.
So this is from ABC 7 News in Chicago. Jason Van Dyke sentenced to 6 years, 9 months in prison for Laquan McDonald murder. Jason Van Dyke, the Chicago police officer convicted of murdering 17-year-old Laquan McDonald, was sentenced to 81 months or 6 years and 9 months in prison, followed by 2 years of mandatory supervised release.
For murder.
In 2014, Van Dyke shot the black teen 16 times.
Wow.
You might recall that. I think we talked
familiar.
about this back then.
It's so hard to keep track of all the police shootings, though.
There's so many of them.
It's
especially in Chicago.
Yeah, and I mean, earlier we weren't joking when we said you've got a greater likelihood of being shot by a cop than you do being blown up by a terrorist.
Yeah, the stat I saw was if you're an American, you're 100 times more likely to be killed by a police officer than by a terrorist.
Yeah. Now, neither of them are particularly likely, but 100 is not a factor to turn your nose up at. I mean, that's a pretty big factor.
We before we deal with this terrorist problem, we need to deal with this police officer problem.
Or do you repeat yourself?
Yeah,
because the government are terrorists. I mean, that's basically what government. This is one of the things we touched on last night. If you weren't tuned into our Saturday show, we talked about the idea of the government being a criminal enterprise, a very successful criminal enterprise. If you go and you look up the definition of terrorism, you will find that it is, terror is the idea of using violence to achieve usually a political end.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all the government ever does is use the threat of violence to achieve their political goals.
Yeah, that's the whole point of a government.
It's just they won't call it terrorism when they do it. When they do it, it's taxes, it's regulations.
Yeah. See, terrorism, the other half of their definition of terrorism is that it's a non-state actor.
Oh, right. Their definition. Yeah. So tell me more.
So in 2014, Van Dyke shot the black teen 16 times. Video of the shooting from a police dash cam released more than a year later was a key piece of evidence in the trial and inflamed public reaction across the country. Mm-hmm. Back in October, jurors took a few hours over 2 days to determine their verdict. Van Dyke was found guilty of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery.
One for each shot?
One for each shot.
Huh.
Judge Vincent Gahn said he considered the most serious charge to be the second-degree murder charge, not the 16 aggravated battery charges, and made his sentencing decision on that murder charge. The special prosecutor, argued
they can't have the police prosecutor do
it,
right?
The regular prosecutors can't prosecute cops? Why not?
Because they work for them. I mean, they all work together.
Oh,
you want to bring in somebody from the outside for that case.
Oh,
that's the idea, at least.
I see.
That's not to say that normally results in anything at all, different. This is what's different about this. Yes. What's newsworthy about this is a police officer actually sentenced for committing a violent act, where normally they're let off the hook.
Yeah, normally these guys get off.
Yeah. So this was a situation that was very unusual. It sounds like there was video of this.
There was
happening.
dash cam video, yes. The special prosecutor argued that aggravated battery with firearm was the more serious of the crimes of which Van Dyke was convicted and should be sentenced consecutively on those charges instead of the second-degree murder charge, which carries a lesser sentence. So I guess the prosecutor actually wanted a longer sentence than he got.
That's typical.
The prosecution asked for 18 to 20 years in prison. The defense asked for probation.
Yeah.
Of course. Now, Van Dyke's sentence is eligible for reduction for good behavior, and ABC 7 legal analysts said the former police officer could be out in as little as 3 years.
For murder.
Yeah.
For murder.
For murder.
I mean, look, there are people in prison right now, in federal prison, that have gone in for life, like Ross Ulbricht, the man who basically created a website that the feds didn't like.
He didn't kill anybody, and he might have even saved some lives.
I think there's a strong argument that the Silk Road, which was the underground drug marketplace, the world's first on the Tor network, has absolutely saved lives. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If you put safer drugs, meaning drugs that people know what they're actually getting, into drug users' hands, they're going to be safer with it. It's harm reduction, and it absolutely works. But they put Ross Ulbricht away for 2 life sentences plus 40 years, and all he did was program a website. This cop shoots a kid 16 times, and he's going to be out in maybe as little as 3 years.
As little as 3 years. The legal analyst for ABC...
I mean, hold on. Before you go, is there anybody out there within the sound of this show that actually thinks that's okay? That discrepancy? So, oh, yeah, it's fine. He's a cop. Oh, yeah, no problem. 3 years. I mean, really? Is there anybody out there that could call in to say, he should have had less than 3 years for murder?
855-450-FREE.
Right,
Let's hear from
the number. Toll-free number, 855-450-3733. In fact, if there's more to the story, hang on to it. We'll continue. We've got David on the line in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, yeah. First of all, by the way, speaking of Sarah, George Norrie and his producer put me on hold there tonight because they specifically want me to keep them updated. This public radio getting me arrested for calling into their call-in program. So
you were arrested not for calling George Norrie. You were arrested for calling, and I know this because you've called before about this. Recently, you were arrested for calling a public radio station, a government-funded university radio station. They told you to stop calling. You continued to call, and you were arrested essentially for a charge of telephone harassment, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I just thought it was, since it was on my mind, Sarah had been mentioning that she calls into, or listens to Coast and mentions George Norrie, but I had been on their program a few times, and one of the times their producer specifically held me after on hold to ask me about that, and specifically asked me if I would please keep them updated on that rights issue. So that was a piece of good news as far as holding government accountable to violating our rights. So.
You can't really hold them that accountable, but you can definitely talk about it on the radio. I mean, that'll bring some attention to it, but ultimately they're probably going to keep getting away with it.
I can hold them accountable. And actually that was on my list. I got a question for you. Wanted to discuss it with you. Then I might as well do that now since you brought it up. The holding government accountable, I will be holding them accountable in that I will be suing them because I allege they violated my civil rights in that process on several different levels, and so I will be suing them, which is holding them accountable.
True. So, you're going to sue them because they charged you under the domestic violence statutes, right?
Well, actually, I'm going to sue them on 3 or 4 different counts. That would be one of them, but they violated my civil rights and other rights in more than one way. They violated, there's probably a half a dozen different counts that I'll be suing on.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with the suit, and I thank you for the call tonight, David. I'm sure you'll keep us in the loop on how that develops. But the problem is, even if you do get the actual judgment in your favor, which is hard to do against the government because they're immune from a lot of suits, a lot of responsibilities, but if you did get it in your favor and you got a big cash payout, it doesn't always change the way they behave.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So they could just go ahead and continue to violate other people's rights. Maybe they would change the way they behave with you. Maybe they'd be a little more cautious with you, but they could still just keep running roughshod over other people's rights, and as long as they don't get taken to court, there's nothing that can be done. A court ruling doesn't necessarily change how the bureaucrats on the ground operate. More coming up here, and thanks for the call. This is Free Talk Live.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features Smart Rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn Smart Rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 Smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart Rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.Global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.Global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.Global. That's AnyPay.Global. There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free. Take control of the airwaves here. Live Sunday edition. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Talking about a cop shot a young person 16 times.
Shot a teenager 16 times in Chicago just another weekend in 2014.
But actually he's been held accountable.
He has actually been sentenced.
And you were telling us about that. We'll get back into it, but I do want you to know about Liberty.menu. If you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and you agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, then you really ought to check out Liberty.menu. If you've got a thing that you do, maybe it's a business, or maybe you've got an event that you put together, or maybe you're a digital content creator, there is a category for you over at Liberty.menu. It's essentially, at its core, a directory for libertarians who do things and want other libertarians to know about it. Maybe get some new business out of it. You can do that. It's a map-based thing. You can click and zoom in on the map and see who's where in your area that might be a liberty-friendly business. So check it out over at Liberty.menu. Add your thing that you do to it, or if you do more than one thing, add all of those things because it's free to add items to Liberty.menu. So there's no reason not to do this unless you want to keep it quiet. Unless you don't want libertarians to know about your pro-freedom, freedom-friendly business. If you want them to know, then get over to Liberty.menu, use code FTL on your user profile, and that'll give you a special Free Talk Live listener badge. That's Liberty, Menu. All right, so what else do we need to know about this story?
So Jason Van Dyke was sentenced to 6 years and 9 months.
Yep.
He was a Chicago police officer. Killed 17-year-old Laquan McDonald in 2014. Shot him 16 times. And
seems a little unnecessary.
Yeah, it's a little unnecessary. My thinking is he probably just ran out his magazine. Otherwise, he would have kept going.
Yeah, that's a lot of shots.
But he could be out in as little as 3 years, and the reason is his sentence includes time served.
Oh, so he's been waiting trial for a little bit.
Yeah, he's been waiting trial a little bit. McDonald's great uncle, Pastor Marvin Hunter.
But still, he was still only sentenced to like 6-ish years, right? 80-something months.
6 years, 9 months.
Yeah, so I mean, that's by no means a hefty sentence for murdering somebody.
Yeah, it's second-degree murder.
Yeah.
So McDonald's great uncle, he was the victim. Pastor Marvin Hunter spoke immediately after leaving the courtroom. Quote, "I've been told time and time again that the citizenry of the county of Cook is not going to be satisfied with a sentence that's anything south of 20 years, Hunter said. Quote, "However, I want to say to everyone in the city of Chicago and across this country that if they had sentenced him to 1 minute, it is a victory. It is a victory because what has happened in this courtroom today has never happened in the history of this county, and it sets a precedent, sends a strong message to unjust police officers that now you can and will go to jail if you're caught lying, if you're caught breaking the law."
Probably not, though.
Yeah, possibly not. I mean, this has been going... Chicago's had corrupt cops since Chicago's been a city.
You're more likely to go to prison if you're the governor of the state of Illinois than you are a cop in Chicago.
Oh, that is so true. That is so true.
There's more than, what, 3 years? There's like at least 3 governors of Illinois that have gone to prison?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, they just keep... Well, they keep getting caught. That's the thing.
Sure.
So you have to not get caught if you're going to be a successful criminal.
Well, unless you're a cop, in which case, if you get caught, most of the time you get a slap on the hand.
I fear for my life.
Well, that's all they have to say is
that's their get out of jail free card.
Right. It doesn't matter, what was happening. All they say is I feared for my life, and then they can just blast away and have virtual, with no impunity. And it's terrible. It's terrifying, and I appreciate these people's optimism. I really do, but I don't think this one conviction is going to open the floodgates.
It probably isn't. But,
I'd love to be wrong about that. I mean, I'd love to have a bunch of corrupt cops in Chicago get brought up on criminal charges because, number one, that doesn't happen most of the time. First of all, in order to get convicted, you got to have a charge brought. But in a lot of the cases, they do their own investigation of whatever the situation was. The police investigate themselves, and then they say, yeah, everything looks fine. We checked it. Yeah, sure, you shot that person.
Well, that's what happened in this case. I do remember a little bit of this. Like almost a year after the shooting, they released the dash cam video. Nothing had happened at this point, but there was so much outrage about it that a special prosecutor had to be brought in.
No, was it was it the dash cam video that created the outrage?
Yes.
Okay.
Because nobody knew what happened before that because all we had was the cop's word, and you can't trust that. But,
exactly.
So dash cam video comes out, special prosecutor comes in, and actually files charges.
Yeah. Unusual. That
unusual.
Part on, let alone the fact that the conviction happened. That's certainly unusual. But that already happened on top of something else that's unusual, which is the filing of the charges itself. Usually they just give the cop a paid or an unpaid vacation while they investigate the thing. Then they bring him back on most of the time. Sometimes if things get real sticky for him, if it looks bad, they might ask him to resign, which of course usually protects his pension or protects his ability to go and get another job with another police department rather than if they fire him for it. So there's all these like slimy ways that they have to kind of just deal internally with bad behaving cops.
That's the way it goes.
So you have to get them charged in the first place, which almost never happens. Then you have to have the conviction, which again almost never happens because still, even with all the police corruption that we've seen out there, they don't put somebody on a jury who's going to answer the question. Because remember, there's the voir dire process where they select the jurors and they ask them certain questions. And if one of the questions that they ask is, well, are you biased against police officers? If anybody says yes to that question,
goodbye.
They're done.
Goodbye.
They're not going to sit on that jury. So the kind of people that get picked for juries are this sort of milquetoast, standard. They got a career, they got a job to go to.
They're the sort of people who have never heard any of this, who don't know that there's endemic corruption in law enforcement, who have never heard any of this.
They don't know the history.
Who actually believe cops.
Yes, that's the worst problem here. So if you get so in this case, you actually had a jury that was willing to disbelieve a police officer, believe their eyes in the case of the video, which I haven't seen, and it sounds horrible.
It was.
But, and they actually did the right thing, and now the judge sentencing him, giving him an easy sentence. I don't know if it's in your story, but I heard somebody tell me that the judge made some kind of statement about how it can be tough for a police officer behind bars, and that was part of the reason why he gave the sentence.
Yeah, I did not see that in this story, but I haven't actually read the whole thing. There are a lot of statements in here from various people.
Let's go to the phones here. We got Larry listening in Indiana to WGBF out of Evansville. Go ahead, Larry.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
The reason I'm calling is well, first let me agree with you on this. That officer that committed that murder should have been short of life in prison. Should have been sentenced to 20, 30, 40 years, whatever. But that was an instance where that officer committed a crime, and should have been sentenced more severely, if not to life. Then, but I wanted to address something you said earlier, and that was you were talking about terrorism, and then you're talking about police, and you made the blanket statement, I think, where you said that's what they are.
Yeah, the government. The government are terrorists.
Well, no, you were talking about police at the time.
Well, the police are the government, but I was talking about all government. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. All government programs are backed by the threat of violence, which, of course, is usually the police who are that threat of violence.
Right. So, therefore, by association, they're terrorists?
Oh, absolutely. Look up the definition of terror.
Okay. Well, right. Now, in terms of that, I just want to, I want to make the differentiation between this case that was just done in court with this guy, because I agree with John.
Oh my God! Hang on. I'm sorry. We ran right into the break there.
Our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control. The 4-legged kind and 2-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our stop 'em, drop 'em, or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Just hop into one of those. You'll sound almost like you're in the studio with us. And tonight, it's Ian.
And Michael.
We're going to go back to your calls and thoughts. Let's go back to Larry. I apologize, Larry. We something was technically wrong there, and we just ran right into to our commercial break with you. Now, you were telling us that you wanted to object or say something specifically to the statement I had made earlier about government and the police being terrorists.
Well, in this sense, yes. There are individuals in the police departments, various police departments, that will do just like this individual did and deserves, in this case, much more punishment than he got.
Mm-hmm.
But when you referred to, when you're talking about terrorists and then police, and you said that's what they are.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what he is.
No, I mean all of them. I'm not saying there aren't as sort of not as individuals. I mean as the group, as
a system,
as the system. And if you look up the definition of terrorism, definition number 1 here, dictionary.com, the use of violence and threats to intimidate or coerce, especially for political purposes. That is the definition of government. That is what they do. The government. That's what they do.
Right. But the statement, that's what they are, is easily construed as that's what all of them are. They.
Collectively, that is what they are.
That's like a 12-year-old walking down the street and gets attacked and a cop car drives by. Should that 12-year-old call someone who was considered as a group a terrorist to help them? If you were standing on the street, someone were beating you with a baseball bat, and you're almost unconscious, but you could yell out to the cop driving down the road, "Hey, terrorist, come save me."
Yeah,
obviously here I am.
Yeah, obviously that's not going to work. What I would like to clarify here is that in an individual circumstance, a police officer may do the right thing. However, they're not obligated to. They're not obligated to do anything at all to help you in any circumstances whatsoever, and the Supreme Court has made that ruling time and time again. So there's no obligation for them to provide you with any kind of protection or any kind of services. And the terrorism is the base level violence that exists beneath every single government program. They have the services that they provide, whether it be police or fire department or plowing the roads or whatever it is that they do.
The National Park Service.
Yeah, they have these services to cover the violence in the system, to make it look like it's something besides what it actually is, which is a way to extract money and obedience from a large group of people. Because if you don't do what they say, then you start to see the terrorist tactics coming out.
Right.
If you go along to get along and you pay every single fee and every single fine and every single licensing fee and you jump through every single hoop,
the protection money,
then you might be of the viewpoint that these people are out there providing you with some sort of legitimate service. But the fact is they're not, because if you don't do it, then they're going to come after you.
May I say something?
Please.
Okay. What I think you're doing here is, my contention is that you're engaging in argument by diversion in this sense. It would be made much clearer to your listeners if in the instance when you're talking about police, say there are individuals that engage in this, not the word they, because they is often construed as everyone.
No, that's what I mean.
So
every single one of them. If I haven't been clear, I mean that as a group, they are terrorists.
Right, as a group.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, as a group,
they don't believe it.
Terrorists.
They don't. That's not what they think of themselves. They think they're, if the police, for instance, they think they're going after bad guys. They
think they're helping people.
They think they're helping.
My brother was a deputy sheriff for a county.
That explains a lot.
In a certain state for many years, and he helped a lot of people and saved many lives. Never drew his weapon, and in fact told me if he drew his weapon and used it, he was on his own.
Well, good. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
but
much.
That doesn't mean that man wouldn't have gone after, let's say, an individual in the area who refuses to pay property tax. The town then does what they call a tax sale on that person's house, legally transferring it to some other person, saying, well, you don't own this anymore. The man whose house that was stolen from him then decides he wants to stay in the house. I'd like to paint this picture for you. He then decides he believes that it's his house because he paid for it, and he's going to stay in that house. Then your brother is called in to excise that man from that house. He's going to do what he's told, isn't he? Or is he going to refuse, saying he doesn't want to terrorize that man?
Well, what you're doing, though, here, I think, is complicating the situation by using the collective when you're saying they versus the individual and he or she.
No, I used your brother as a specific example.
There are policemen out there. My brother is an example.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about they.
He never was called on to do those types of things that you were just.
If he were called, what would he say?
The only honest answer in that situation would be, I don't know.
Okay. All right. You really think that he might have said no? Like, I'm not going to go on that job, Chief?
I don't know.
Okay.
He's already bucked the system and was told to back off and shut up.
Well, congratulations. Your brother is unusual in
But he's an individual.
Yeah,
See, that's
right.
my whole point. He's an individual in that.
Well, there are good.
Did he ever write a speeding? Did he ever write a speeding ticket?
I'm sure that he had.
What happens if you don't pull over for the cop that wants to write you a speeding ticket?
Well, then they can. I'm sure that they would either set up a station ahead of you of an individual to make sure that they stop. Or
would they use violence and threats against you?
Address. Excuse me.
Would they use violence and threats against you in order to get you to do what they want?
I don't know. My brother never did.
Your brother never actually pulled somebody over?
My brother never had to use violence in those situations. No.
He never pulled somebody over for a speeding ticket?
He pulled somebody over for a speeding ticket.
Right.
When you ask what would he do if the person hadn't stopped?
Mm-hmm.
So he's never been that. So I have to answer that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's a convenient answer for you, Larry. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
Sure.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. I'll tell you what he would do. He would do everything that every other cop would do, which is pull that person over by whatever means necessary. If it's run them off the road, they'll run them off the road.
Do the pit maneuver.
If it's throw down tack strips, call ahead to throw down tack strips or whatever, to nails or whatever it is they use to pop the tires, they'll do that too. Shoot out the tires, whatever it is they got to do. Because if you don't do what they say in the time frame that they expect you to do it, then the violence starts to escalate. And if you don't want to believe your brother would do those things, that's great, man. You grew up with him. I'm sure he was a great brother and everything. And he's probably a cut above the rest of the police.
Maybe he wouldn't. I'm sure there's still good cops out there. I don't know where they are, but,
well,
I'm sure there's maybe one left out there.
A bad apple spoils the bunch, right? That's what they say.
Right.
So I'm sorry. I mean, look, I understand you don't want to believe that your brother would do things like that, and maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he would be the one cop who would refuse to follow those orders. But the fact is, people pull over because they know what happens if they don't. If it were just some crazy lunatic yelling out their window at you to pull over, just some guy driving a beater with long hair and scraggly beard yelling at you to pull over, what do you do then?
Man, you're not pulling over.
No one sane would pull over in that situation. But when the crazy person has a badge and a gun, and this concept of authority, the idea that this person, will likely get away with whatever it is they do to you. Because it's likely completely legal, most of the things that they would have to do to subdue you.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't want to go along with them so-called voluntarily, they'll use whatever force is necessary, up to deadly force, to get you to comply. Now, they would prefer to not kill you, but some of them are actually kind of into that.
Yeah, there are some that are a little psychotic and would love you to run just so they can shoot at you.
So, I mean, look, I'm not against the idea of having protection services, whether you want to call that the police or whatever, if they're offered on a consensual basis. But they don't offer their services on a consensual basis. You either pay or you go to prison. You have your house stolen from you. It's one or the other. If you don't want your house stolen from you and you decide to defend it, that guy's brother would probably come there and use violence against you.
You know what other organization acts like that? The mafia.
Indeed. But they are considered a gang by the average person, whereas they don't consider the government a gang. For some
what's
reason.
The difference?
Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live Sunday show, final segment here for tonight, but we've got, 7 days a week that we do this thing. So if you didn't get to join us tonight on the radio, you can always call us any other night, 7 to 10 Eastern. Those are our live times again, in the evening Eastern time, 7 to 10. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Michael.
We're going to go back to your calls and thoughts here. Of course, you can bring up anything you want. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live brought to you by the AMP program. Listeners who have become Free Talk Live amplifiers for $5 per month to help us advertise, market, and promote. That's what AMP stands for, to amp Free Talk Live, to get us on more radio stations. We've got about 190, a little bit more than 190 radio stations airing Free Talk Live as of right now. They're not all on right now, but over a whole week, that's the number of stations that we have airing Free Talk Live. And we could have 300. We could have more than that. It just takes money. It takes time. It takes effort. So please help us out over at amp.freetalklive.com. You will get perks. You'll get some bennies as a result of being a Free Talk Live amplifier, which you can do with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin specifically. You can also do it with PayPal or credit card. So it's $5 a month, and it makes a big difference for us when you do that. So please go to amp.freetalklive.com. You'll get some perks. You'll help us out, and it makes a big difference when you do it. It's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes, they're planning to cut the SNAP or the EBT benefits here in New Mexico.
Is this a federal thing with Trump, or is this a state thing?
I was told that this is due to the government shutdown.
Yeah, I heard about that.
As far as I know, it's all 50 states.
So all of the 50 states. So the thing is, they're at the food banks right now. The workers they're about to eat dog food. So why is Trump trying to cut the EBT? What does he want to do?
According to FreshEBT.com, January benefits should be deposited on the normal schedule. February benefits will be deposited early, around January 20th.
Which is today.
And let's see here. I guess the idea is it's the next one that could be interrupted, I think.
Yeah, so they're thinking, March benefits would be interrupted?
Yeah, let's see. Government shutdown, how the government... I'm trying to find a good piece here. But yeah, so this has to do with this budgetary impasse that they have at the federal level, Sarah. And this is one of the reasons why people shouldn't support government welfare, because a political disagreement can interrupt your assistance. So if, one side or the other, whichever party you happen to prefer, and I don't prefer either of them, but if one side or the other decides to stick their heels in and say, no, we want this for this, and the other side says, no, we want the other thing, and then they can't come to an agreement, well, the longer they can't come to an agreement, the longer you're going to have to go without EBT.
Yeah, and people should help each other. They should do it. They should help each other directly, not by sending a bunch of cash to Washington and having only half of it come back.
So all of the EBTs are going to be cut, or just some of the people, or what's the breakdown?
Well, as far as we know, everybody is getting their February benefits are going out, but they're going out early.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a
the
whole
market
lot. It just says here billions. This is a story from a few days, like a week ago. The partial government shutdown means millions of low-income Americans are about to get their February food stamps a week early. And then it goes on here to say the Trump administration announced this week they'd come up with a way to bankroll more than $4.8 billion in benefits next month, with just one catch. Benefits for the nearly 39 million people enrolled in the program must be paid out by January 20th. The workaround creates serious logistical and communications challenges that could lead to widespread confusion about how benefits for SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps, will be distributed in the coming months if the spending impasse continues. The federal government has experience issuing SNAP benefits on short notice in a single state or region in response to natural disaster, but a single payout of this size and scale is uncharted territory. So they're not exactly sure what this is going to look like.
Sarah, I think you're right. It sounds like this is a one-off, and March is still up in the air.
Yeah, so it just may stop. And then I guess another question is, like the government employees, when they come back to work, or some of them are being told they have to work even though they're not getting paid, when they come back, they're going to get their back pay.
Right.
And in fact, some of them will apparently get twice as much money, the people who were still working during that time frame. Apparently, according to Daryl on another show earlier this week, they're going to get paid 2x. So do the food stamps people get back pay?
No,
the
food stamp workers?
No. I mean, like the food recipients.
Oh,
food
the
stamp recipients.
SNAP. No, because they're already getting their benefits.
Yeah, but if they're
not going to get extra benefits.
But if they miss,
if
they miss
March,
they
miss one, I don't know.
Will they? If they miss March and then it comes back in April, will they get a 2x check or whatever, or card?
If those benefits are not there on March 5th, then we might actually see riots in the streets.
That's an interesting point. Sarah, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate you bringing that to us. And again, this is one of those things where, look, and this was a point that one of the Libertarian Party state representatives, who actually was a former Democrat, made. And I thought I'd never actually heard this point before because, a lot of you don't find people coming from the left as often getting into politics with the Libertarians and having success. But this one actually did. And that's not to say that lefties aren't involved in the Libertarian movement. It just seems more heavily influenced by the right. That's just my opinion. I know there are people who disagree with that. Yeah. But this guy had pointed out that if you care about people, right, because a lot of people on the left, they want the government to exist as a safety net. They want to have these programs out there for, the most needy people who, are sick or they're hungry or whatever. Their problem is they need the government, they believe, to do those things for those people. Now, we believe in voluntary solutions, meaning that whether it's a charity or whatever the organization is that's helping people, that it should be funded on a consensual basis.
And, I don't discuss this much, but I actually I think I've more or less always been a libertarian, but I kind of did lean a little bit left for a while, and then I learned economics. So I understood that the way the progressives wanted to do this social safety net is not going to work. So we need to do something else.
Well, I mean, for some people it works.
It
there
works.
Are people who
it doesn't work as well as it could.
Right, it's not efficient, and they have no incentive for it to be efficient.
Right, and they don't have an incentive to help people make their lives better.
Right. That's not to say there aren't individual bureaucrats who do want to try to help, but overall, the government has a serious lack of incentives as far as helping people is concerned. So if you do things on a consensual basis, then people will get better help because they'll be helped by people who are helping in volunteer roles in many cases. They're there because they actually care, not just to collect a paycheck.
Right.
You can contribute to different charities, the ones that are doing the best job. You get to decide instead of some unaccountable bureaucrat
or
in
you can
Washington,
just go in
D.C.
and, like I was telling Sarah, you can just go in and help people directly.
Work at the food bank or something like that.
Yeah, work at the food bank, donate to the food bank, and they're going to need a lot more donations the next month or two with if
EBT goes away,
if EBT, sure. But even with like the federal shutdown, because those guys are starting to visit food banks.
So the point that this state rep had made was, look, if you care about people and you want them to be helped, the government's the worst way to do it. Not only because it's inefficient, but also because it can be used politically. It can be politicized. Your program, in this case EBT or whatever, is being turned into a political football.
Right.
And so if these politicians decide they're going to cut the program, whether it's the Republicans or Democrats or whoever it is that's doing it, to whatever the program it is that is your favorite. Okay, so we just happen to be talking about EBT here, but if it was something that was helping people and they're, and then all of a sudden the rug just gets pulled out from underneath them because of a political change, that's not something that people can count on. That's not something that is actually helpful if you can't know for sure.
That's a safety net with a big gaping hole in it.
Right, yeah. You fall in the net and then you don't know whether or not it's going to have a hole at the time or if it's too weak in the place where that's a scary thing. So if you're dealing with a charity, there's no guarantee that they're going to keep getting funding, but if they're doing a good job, they're going to keep getting funding.
Right. Because people will want to contribute to that charity.
Right. And if something terrible happens at the charity that was doing a good job, let's say, a new CEO comes in or whatever, and they just run it into the ground, all of a sudden it just starts hemorrhaging cash, being very inefficient, you can just move your donation over to a different charity.
That's right.
Somebody can start a different charity that does it better in the same area, and you're not held hostage by that one charity, which is what the government is. It's not a charity, but it holds you hostage, and it forces you to fund its programs, no matter whether you appreciate them or not. Hey, we're out of time for tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of January 19th to 20th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.35 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Smart Cash is trading at 1.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,728. Antiwar.com reports following an hour-and-a-half meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-chol, the second summit between Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un has been announced, tentatively scheduled for late February. The White House said that the meeting will take place, but the exact date and time will be disclosed to the public at some time in the future. It's not clear if those details have been worked out privately yet. Trump and Kim held their first summit in Singapore on June 12th. This historical summit was extremely successful, leading to an announced deal on nuclear nuclear disarmament. Since then, mounting U.S. sanctions have raised tensions, and U.S. officials have complained North Korea hasn't met all U.S. demands. Either way, the White House says there will be no sanctions relief or any dialing back of U.S. pressure in the lead up to the talks. North Korea's hope to reach a peace deal ending the generations-long Korean War and progress toward normalization are major goals, and it will be difficult for President Trump to convince them to speed up denuclearization without getting at least some of that in return.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
UPI reports freezing cold temperatures and heavy snow are expected across the Midwest and Northeast this weekend, weather that canceled hundreds of flights on Friday. About 100 million people are under a winter storm watch, warning, or advisory. Cities along the Great Lakes are also contending with possible lake effect snow, which could increase their snow totals. Boston and New York City saw light snowfalls on Friday. By late Saturday, freezing rain is expected with as many as 6 inches of snow and sleet. As of Friday afternoon, more than 11,000 flights in the United States were delayed and 771 were canceled. A second round of storms associated with the same system is expected to exit the Rocky Mountains and travel to the Midwest over the weekend. Kansas City and St. Louis, which both received major snowfall last weekend, expect less accumulation this time, but strong wind gusts and blowing and drifting snow. Milwaukee and Chicago could get up to 9 inches of snow according to forecasters. Snowfall was expected to begin late Friday in Chicago with increase overnight. Buffalo, which has not yet endured a major snowfall this winter, is expected to see strong winds and snow beginning Saturday. About 6 inches are expected in the metro area and as many as 16 inches elsewhere in western New York State. The snow will be followed by extreme cold for the eastern United States. Arctic air is expected to cover the area as far south as Florida, cooling